too.
I already did. Hey! Ho. This is Crazy Peas. I am TPAW.
I am the Karnage.
And he is Pokemon Going.
No. Actually, no. I'm on TikTok. Just look.
Oh.
Tits and ass everywhere.
Yes.
I mean, it just keeps. I sent you the one text like this happened
Yep.
yesterday. Dude, I got 13 more. Look at all these women. And if you're chasing me because of this or X, aka Twitter, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, or for some other reason, send me a message and tell me why you're following me or something. Boost my ego because I need it. It was a bad week. Just kidding.
Yeah, so we're
I don't fucking care.
it is the week before Halloween, and one of my favorite holidays. We managed to spend the least amount of money possible.
Now. 5 days, not a full week. Because
Okay,
in
less
2
than a
days
week.
I gotta go do trick or treat with the kids. Of course, I bought enough candy. I'm not gonna run out this year.
Yeah. Yeah, that reminds me, we probably need to do our own little bag of candy, unless Merrimer does it, but I'm pretty sure that
You can
it's
get
going to
a
team up.
decent one at. Okay, I don't know if you hit like, but I hit like. That's the second like, so we already got somebody watching.
Nice!
Pokemon.
Boo!
Maybe your crazy wife, my crazy sister.
Let's hope so. If you're watching it, wifey, jump in the chat. Say hi to us, please.
Yes,
Show
make
some
us
love.
look crazier than we already look.
Yeah, it was our anniversary today, actually, and our wedding anniversary. That is. We get. I told her mom, I was like, yeah, we get 2 of them. You know, we get our wedding anniversary, and then we get the anniversary for when we started dating, and it's still kind of what we've decided collectively, and her mom didn't disagree. She's like, yeah, definitely get 2 of them. And technically, with the things that her mom was talking about, I'm like, yeah, you technically get 3 of them then for you, because she was talking about the temple anniversary. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you get sealed at the temple, it's like a second marriage.
Yeah, and then there's, of course, today is also the death anniversary of Aries, and also is another anniversary of the day that I initially self-published my own novel, or at least just published my own novel. So I've been an author officially for 3 years.
You're no
today.
longer a baby.
Yeah, for 3 years, and
Now
I've
you're
already
a
got.
toddler.
Now I've got like a poetry book out, 2 poetry books out. One of them, the wife actually co-authored. I've got, Crimson Nightfall, which I'm going to be republishing again this next year or the following year. I haven't decided yet. Working on 2 other books currently, so I've got stuff on the pipeline. But I've been an author for a few years now.
I have one question.
What's that?
Why is that spazzing out like the fucking goddamn...
This?
Yes, it's hurting my eyes.
Oh.
Because it's in the background.
There we go.
I saw flashing light. I'm like, I'm used to the light being over there with the mic. What the... And then my eyes went, no, stop looking at it. But it's flashing colors.
Yeah, no, it's that was the sound boost speaker that we were using before.
Oh, that you were talking about for the kids with the Rainbow Friends.
Yep,
Okay.
I was using that speaker to watch Rainbow Friends with them because they happen to love Rainbow Friends. Let me make sure the microphone is going.
It is.
Let's see
Oh,
here.
God, shit, you'll break it.
Okay, output device, special sound, Sonic. We should be good to go. Wifey, if there's any volume issues at all, let me know, because I don't want to be talking this entire time for the last 4 minutes and have no sound.
Oh, we got sound. Give me a sec. I'll prove it.
Okay, good. Awesome. Should have done a sound check. Oh well. Yeah, it is a week before Halloween, one of my favorite holidays of the year, and I found it funny when we were going through Spirit today, because we went to Walmart, and we walked to Spirit, drove to Spirit, and then we walked to the Walmart because it was next door, and then we walked back to Spirit. That's where we walked. We walked back to Spirit because we walked into that Walmart and we're like, wow, this selection is shit. So we went back to Spirit.
Which Walmart?
The one in Clinton, I think. Yeah. No. Yeah, Clinton.
Clinton or Syracuse?
We went to the Clinton one. And
so you went to the Halloween store?
Yeah, the Spirit store.
The one that's
by the Walmart.
trying to think, because it's usually in that little strip mall next to the pizza parlor that used to be.
Yeah,
I think they moved it.
Yeah, we
recently.
went there, and then we managed to penny pinch enough to only spend $40, get the kids their stuff, which would have been $40 for one fucking costume, because that's how much the costumes were for each one of the stupid bags that had the costume in it with the cute little design on the front. Like $40 for a fucking costume. We managed to spend $40 for what would have been one costume for like enough for, you know, all three of the kids. And then we spent like another $30 just because we went to the Layton Walmart. We went to the next one over. We found the same shit we would have gotten a Spirit for less over at the Layton Walmart, so we lost a bit anyway. But in total, we spent about $70 on costumes, which is far cry from last year. Because last year we spent $400.
Always go to asshole first.
Yeah.
Because sometimes asshole charges more, but the funny part is sometimes they have better deals.
Yeah.
Well, Walmart is the company that started out as one of the best companies, homegrown sort of thing, and then it became like, well, it's like it's the sellout. Like most people are like, well, you sold out because now your specials on Netflix or shit like that. It's like, shut up, motherfucker! I got a fucking check.
Yeah, we were deal hunting for quite a bit, but we managed to get the kids their costumes, and then of course. After we got back, the kids got home, and then when that happened, she decided to have them try out the costumes to make sure they fit, make sure that stuff was working and everything.
Is that what was taking so long?
And of course, the kids decided to run outside and play with it, so I took my phone, went outside, because I was checking stuff on this computer initially. I was going to get some stuff set up before her and I went out on our date, and before Mary came back. And the kids were like, we want to go outside and play with our costumes. And so she's all like, go outside. You should totally be filming this right now, because they were playing with the costumes. So I went outside, and then like I started like taking pictures of them, yes, but then I started switching to video, because I've got a nice little terabyte card in my phone now. So I'm like, I got room. And so I went in and started filming them, and messing around with it. And of course they thought that they decided that they were in a movie. And then I was the guy with the camera filming them, and so like I kept stopping the video initially because I was getting like little clips and stuff because I was gonna just stitch it together.
Does your phone not have the option while recording just hit the button and it'll take a picture?
I actually learned how to pause the video and then replay it, but it does have the option to take pictures. That's what I was doing for part of the time. But I was taking video of it, and then I was taking little snaps of the video. But basically, I was running around following them. And of course, Cass decides to be like, "You're like, are you making a short movie?" And I'm like, "What? You want me to keep filming?" And he's like, "Yeah, make a long movie." And then Arian decided, like, because he's using his little growly vampire voice, is like, "Yes, Vampire Daddy, make a long movie." And I'm all like, "Okay." And so like, they were Phoenix was calling me Fairy Daddy, and then Arian was calling me Vampire Daddy, and then Cass was calling me Werewolf Daddy. So for each respective costume they were playing as, I was insert word daddy. And at some point, Arian suddenly decided that he burns in the sunlight. So like he went and fell on the ground and then was laying there on the ground. And I'm like, is he okay? I didn't realize what happened. I was like, he fell on the ground. Are you okay, buddy? And he's like, and Cass is like, he's burning, Daddy. And I'm like, no, he's not. And then I'm like, wait, I'm stupid. He's a vampire. And then like fucking Phoenix goes up to him and goes, he's like, shh, and goes, I heal you, brother. And I'm like, oh, that's what's happened. She's using fairy magic to cure Arian of the vampire burn, the sunlight burn. And so they're sitting there playing and stuff. And Cass is all like,
the joke.
I want your meat.
No, that's the joke.
Yeah.
Dracula and Tinkerbell calls Dracula our kid.
Okay.
Edward, that's why he's all shiny and glittery in the sun.
Yeah.
You remember that joke?
I remember the joke, and I don't think the kids know.
I mean, it's not funny, but I'm saying no. That's the hilarity in it.
Okay. Yeah, Arian's wearing like this cape thing that makes him look like Dracula, so that's what's funny about it. And Phoenix is wearing the wings that make her look like Tinkerbell. So when you see the pictures, you're gonna be like,
well, sometimes you can get. Well, this is what I did with the kids last year. I just got them stuff at the Dollar Tree because they had not the best, but I mean it was decent. It worked for Halloween.
Yeah, no, it was budget friendly.
Oh yeah, because I mean when you can get the stuff at the Dollar Tree, and basically it's like a little cape or fairy wings or just the simplest, littlest shit.
Yeah. Well, that's
It's
what we
like-
got. That's where we got. That's
Thank-
where the wife. I think the wife either found the cape from here from like years ago, because we didn't buy the
Probably
cape.
got that.
But she found the cape from years ago here that might have been from Dollar Tree. It was got from somewhere, but it was
It
an
was
old.
probably the Dollar Tree
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was
'cause
a-
I think
It was an
I
old cape.
saw it, but
It was an
excuse me,
old
the
cape, and we just
kid
put it on
wanted
him.
something different that year.
Yeah. So with Arian, we got makeup that fits all of them. So she'll be able to do makeup for Phoenix, makeup for Cass, makeup for Arian, and it's like a big giant kit that like covers all three of them. And we got Arian vampire fangs. So we were very selective of what we got for them, but we were trying to like do one size fits all for a lot of them. And Cass has those little cute like werewolf like hand mitts where it likes his hands look like werewolves, and he's got like the mask that fits over his head. I had to be like, no, our Cass, put the rope above your ear so it doesn't fall off your face, because he was all like putting it under his ear, so it was like going. And he's like, I can't see.
We're not playing the mill team.
Yeah, he's all like, it keeps falling off my face, Daddy. And I'm like, it's probably because it's not on your ears. So I went ahead and refixed it on his face, and then he was all like, "Arr!" And he was all like, give me your meat. I want your meat. And I'm like, that sounds funny.
Child is asking to eat my skin.
Yeah. And he like kept tackling me and glomping me and shit and being like, meat. And then, but like it was funny. It was adorable. I was watching them play their own little movie, and they want to do it again sometime soon. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then suddenly I got to the end. I'm like, wait a minute. Like later on, like Spirit will have their after Halloween deals and shit, and like
Yeah, 1 or 2 days after, right before they close down everything.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'll see like if we can find anything that we can add to it to give them some fun.
My biggest issue is that I got the missing tooth right here.
Yeah.
What I want to do, because I got some vampire fangs. I know kind of where they are. It'll take me like 10 minutes to find them. If I actually decide to look or say, fuck it. I don't care. I've decided that I need to figure out how to fill in that. The issue I might have, but because the mouth goes so fast,
Yeah.
it's because you gotta warm up the little plastic beadlets to make
Yeah.
a diagram. You put it in it to make the diagram for your tooth. I won't make one so it's off center,
Mhm.
because my vampire tooth is actually in one,
Yeah.
hair and hair.
Mhm.
Because I can feel the little stabby part where that would actually be for a vampire. I'm just gonna move it over one of both sides.
You know you can move your teeth.
Well, I don't have a tooth, so I mean, not move my actual tooth, but move the vampire teeth,
Okay. Yeah.
the little cover thing.
Oh, you mean the
Might
crown.
just wear the one in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about it today. I was like going, it'd be interesting to wear like because I have to get a crown on this front tooth anyway soon. I probably should just go to a dentist at some point in the future. But yeah,
Ghetto rig it.
Ghetto rig it.
Be ghetto. Fabulous.
Yeah, I gotta cause like my two back teeth in the very back, the dentist already warned me like 10 years ago ish, 10, 12 years ago, because
Okay.
when I was on my dad's insurance, the guy he took me to the dentist because my tooth was killing me 10 years ago, and the guy was like, yeah, this is your wisdom tooth, like I'm surprised you still have this thing, and I was like 21, 22, and he's all like, you didn't done
sure already had that pulled out.
yeah, 18, 19 is when you usually get it pulled out. So I'm going to yank that. And then I won't yank the front one that's in front of it, but I will yank the back one. And then in about 10 years or so, you should probably get that front one removed. And I'm all like, okay. And he's like, it's going to hurt like hell, but you need to probably need to do it again.
No,
I'm like, I have to do this again.
No, Dave,
but
you bit
basically, my back tooth on the far right it's been bugging my gum, and so I'm like, I almost thought I was taking pliers.
Save money next month to go to a dentist and get it pulled out properly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can always go to the city blah 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 for the dentistry.
Yeah.
And as long as they don't have the, no offense, bitch / pussy doctor dentist that was there when I went to try to talk to him, go in, get it done, out.
Yeah.
I think it's like $20 or some shit, because I don't have insurance, or you tell me you have insurance, give them the insurance, and then they charge you the deductible.
Yeah, the deductible for my insurance is ass. I learned that the hard way with Amber.
How much is the deductible?
Well, the bill itself was $1,500, and then luckily it whittled down to $90 after the insurance went through. But like I still spent like a good $500 before that happened.
Oh, fuck that shit.
Yeah, no, it was terrible.
Because my biggest thing is like with the whole insurance thing. Insurance is complete bullshit. No offense. You can yell, you can scream, you can cuss at me, whatever. I don't fucking give a shit. Insurance is complete bullshit because if they know you have insurance, they charge you twice as much. 2 to 10 times as much as what they should for doing a basic. You basically going into the doctor for an examination because the insurance will pay it.
Yeah.
And you still pay whatever they charge you anyways.
Yeah, I remember.
It's asinine.
I remember that problem
I'm a
quite a few
cash
times,
patient.
especially with like with being off my dad's insurance, and I've never been able to have insurance that's like way more like that insurance now. Like every one of the insurances I've ever had, it's like, by the way, here's the $1,000 bill, pay that off soon, and it's like years go by.
You know what you do?
Huh? Yeah.
Shred.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to the government. They'll give you your money in 10 years. Fuck off. Leave me alone.
Yeah, no, the wife was like, she got called by a bill collector today, and it was about the appointment she had in April, and they're like, we are having to collect a debt for like $1,200, and
I didn't go to that appointment. You can kiss my ass.
yeah, no, she didn't deny it. Like, she just simply talked to them about it, and it's like, I don't know if that was the right move. Because now they have it on file, and they'll probably try and use that against you. Which means that they'll use it against me.
What was her charge?
She just simply said, well, I thought my insurance was, she said, I gave them my insurance and that sort of thing. So essentially,
don't talk to me, talk to the insurance.
Yeah, so essentially it's the same thing as admitting to it while at the same time blaming on her insurance. But that's why I'm like, I don't know if that was the right move, because like she could have just been like, not my bill, but or I don't know that person.
Dude, I keep getting calls from random people. Well, this is blah 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 company, or this is so and so for this blah 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 company. I don't know who the fuck you are. What the hell you want? What do you want? What are you calling me for?
Yeah, right.
Well, about your house. It's not for sale unless you give me $1 million. I didn't think so. Bye.
Yeah.
It's a hang up. I say, unless you're gonna give me $1 million, have a wonderful day, and I just hit the hang up button.
Yeah, and there are some houses out there that do cost $1 million that are your size.
Dude, mine's literally like $500,000. I'm
really
sorry. You want to buy my house, so that way you can crank up the price. You're gonna pay $1 million for it, so that way you can try to screw the next person. Just guess what? Fuck off.
Current housing market, I wouldn't be
$1 million,
surprised.
I'm gonna pay off the car, pay off the house, fix anything that needs to be fixed on the car, till you eat shit and die, pay off all debts, and basically still have enough money to buy my house, buy another house. Literally split it in half, give half to the bitch, and say, all right, you can leave now. Be gone.
Yeah.
What do I care?
Yeah,
You're gonna try to throw me under the bus, I might as well drive the bus over your ass. Cause no offense, ain't no bus gonna kill my fucking white crazy. What the hell, laces?
I just noticed you're wearing boots.
Yeah. Cause it was possibility of snow and or is how cold it was supposed to be this morning. I mean, it wasn't all that fucking cold.
It was kind of chilly tonight, though.
Eh.
Like, I actually started to feel like October weather.
That it was this morning in the 40s.
Yeah.
So I just said, you know what, fuck you.
Started to actually feel like October weather for a bit there, and don't know if it's
No,
going to be the
thank
same
you,
thing
global
tomorrow.
warming, keep it nice and toasty.
Yeah, I've been surprised
Even though
this
that's
entire
not
month.
exactly what global.
Yeah, I've been surprised this entire month with how warm it's been. It's like October's usually where like you start being like shit fall's here, but fall's actually pretty nice though. Usually.
It's just gonna keep getting warmer. The ice caps are gonna melt, and everybody who's stupid and bought a house on the fucking sea is gonna have to move inland.
Because all their houses are gonna get fucking wiped out by water.
Yeah, but they've been saying that since I was in like 8th grade. So
They've been saying that. Yeah, well, you're older than me, so they've been saying that for fucking longer than
since
I've
I
been.
was in like 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, all the way up. It's like, yeah, it's been like 32 years.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. It ain't happened yet, and it's happening at such a slow rate that the funny part about global warming is it's holy shit hot in the summer. Guess what? That means it's super freezing in the winter.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. Leave me alone. Let me enjoy my slow death on this planet.
Yeah, because I remember in science class, it's funny.
The lies they told there.
I was thinking about it when Cass was like these this has got germs on it. And I'm like, and he was pointing at my straw, and I'm like, how did you heard of that? And he's like, science class, like the old punchline he has. And then I'm like, well, wait, where did you really hear that? He's like, science class, Daddy. You're being funny. You're being silly. But like in chemistry class and a couple of the other science classes, because we already described that I've been in Poseidon Academy when I was in high school. But basically, they kept going on about the ice caps, and girls kept getting teased about the hairspray they used because apparently it would supposedly melt the atmosphere and cause all the global warming to happen.
You know what's funny? What they told me is acid rain.
That's what they told me.
I ain't burned and my car isn't melting when it rained today, so they kiss my fucking ass.
Yeah, when one of my old good buddies described Fallout, the game series, to me, I was like, that's what they pitched in high school if global warming happened. Acid rain, fucking nuclear wasteland, and then washed over fucking inland area because of the polar ice caps, and then nuclear warheads.
There's the funny part to that. Nuclear waste! But here's the funny part about that is we contain any nuclear waste, or what they would consider nuclear waste, is such a thick block of concrete. And then what do? They throw it out in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
But the funny part is if we had nuclear plants all over the fucking world, we wouldn't be burning all these fossil fuels. The plant would be greener from their viewpoint.
Yeah.
And then they'd find out because the carbon footprint is so low, none of the plants would go, y'all are a bunch of fucking idiots.
Yeah. I don't know, like, I feel like as time goes by, and like, I'm in my 30s already, so when you said 32 years, I'm like, that's how long I've been alive. Like, I feel like they just keep saying the same shit, and like, when I was walking to Spirit...
Or slightly change it to make it look like the reason it hasn't happened because we've been
the most newest...
doing less pollution, even though the funny part is, they're only doing 2% less pollution than we were doing when I was in school in the 80s. So fuck off, you're full of shit.
Yeah, the newest part of Spirit, when I walked in, because we were walking around the store and shit, the newest part of Spirit was the Harry Potter section. They had like an entire wall of Harry Potter, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And I was like looking around at everything, but like everything else, I feel like has been resold over and over and over again every goddamn year, and I'm like, why does it feel like the prices keep going up? They keep reselling the same damn costumes every year, and it just feels like a resell. And then you got all these political points and all these pundits and all these other shit that like keep getting talked about in media, and it feels like just a recycle the same old BS. And I'm like, am I getting old, or is this just repeating itself over and over again?
They're repeating themselves to propagandize our children. And when we said, well, what they said was true, we'd be swimming and this would be water world.
Yeah, that's what I was told. I was told it would become Atlantis eventually. That because California is next to water, obviously, and next to the ocean. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. But then they're like, oh, and eventually because Utah is built on like a mudslide, with the falls.
It's a giant freaking swamp.
Yeah, that it would eventually all just converge into one big giant swampland between California, Utah, and then that means Arizona and Nevada would just get washed out and turn into a slush land of desert.
But that's all bullshit too.
I mean, that's what I was told.
No, I understand what you're told. That's why I'm calling it bullshit. Because I was told something different when I lived on the East Coast and when I lived in Oklahoma. I've heard it from each region of the United States.
Yeah,
what
everyone
the
has their own.
Everyone
has their own story.
What the pollution is going to do to our region of the world, or our region of the USA.
Yeah, which pollution by definition is, you know, waste being thrown around and trash being everywhere rather than cleaning up the environment.
See, my biggest bitch about the whole pollution thing? The air we breathe is not polluted. How about you fuckers pull your heads out of your ass? We fly planes around like we already do anyways.
Well, Utah has inversions, so pollution is a thing. It's just...
Oh, just hang on. It's nothing wrong with planes, but we need to stop doing, and this is like a coastal and the oceans thing. Stop using boats.
Stop using boats. Isn't that how we, like, get half our shipments?
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. There's a faster, better way to do it. Airplanes, less pollution. Because, yes, we're polluting the air, but we're polluting the oceans faster than we're polluting the air, and we're actually killing more food because we're killing fish, things we eat, with the oceans and the water faster than we're killing the shit in the air and ourselves.
So you started asking they do like a Hunger Games shit where like they come in with their planes and they just drop off the shipments with like storks and shit. That way, like, to reduce the amount of waste in the sky.
We're not that far off from that shit. Give them another 50 years.
And now babies come from storks now.
Right?
Because, like, you know, if you got all your shipments and you get like your oil and everything else from, you know, from the ocean and like the sea, because like different countries all use their boats and shit. Like, so you're suggesting that we use planes instead of boats, which we technically use both, but like more boats than anything. And apparently we have a comment now. Costello's popped up. Woo! She popped up with a bunch of hearts.
Because she loves you, you dirty bastard.
I'm not a bastard. My dad's still alive. I mean, it feels like he's dead sometimes. But,
no, bastard just means he wrote your mom and, shit, I got her pregnant, I got her married.
Didn't that mean, like, over half of the male population is like that then? And that's, I mean, that's a bunch of bastards.
We are a bunch of bastards. Just some of us are stupid bastards, and some of us are fucking genius bastards.
March of the Bastards.
Alright, I'm in front. Let's do this.
I love you too, Costello.
My dad knocked up my mom and then married her.
Yeah. That's what you told
and
me.
there for years this bitch about used the bitch. Although I bet she still does it behind closed doors about how I ruined his life.
She told me, yeah.
Huh?
She told me that, yeah, that it has been a familiar thought.
Or
yes.
that's not a surprise.
Because as you know, I talk to her about stuff you talk to me about, so I can kind of bounce it off of her and see what.
Hey man, I've been saying this
things.
shit for a while because of the way he's always talked to me, or, well, when I was your age, this, and this, or when I was. It's like, yeah, because you fucked up, ran off, being a little man whore, sleeping around, got mom, finally knocked somebody up, got somebody pregnant, my mom, and then what did you instantly do? Okay, I have a kid, I'm marrying you.
Yeah. That sounds like the male population right there.
Well, see, the funny part with it is you have all these people that always bitch that, well, men leave the women. Actually, the women usually leave the men. No, Dave.
I would not say
sitting
me,
post.
though, because I had 2 children before we got married. And then after we got married,
No,
like...
Dave! Hey!
No. after we got married, like 2 years later, that's when we had Phoenix. So,
Dipshit.
you know.
Yes, you're sniffing for the food. I was just shoving down my gullet. Chill. Alright, ready for the first sound bite?
Sure, why not?
Human beings were originally built to spend 85% of our time outside. The average human spends less than 2% of their lifetime outdoors. So now what's happened when we've come indoors? We've stopped contacting the surface of the earth. Do you know that the earth is a giant magnetic field? Think about the last time that you had bare feet touching bare soil, dirt, grass, or sand. That's the last time that you discharged into the earth. And this is very real. By the way, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I took a voltage meter.
You do this every day.
I plugged it into
Huh?
You do this every day.
into the ground.
Especially
Right.
And I
forget
held
to
the
put
other
shoes
pole
on.
of this voltage meter, and I showed you how
Actually, I
there
do
was
it
zero
once or twice
voltage
a day.
going through my body. I was standing in tennis shoes. And I took my shoes off and I stepped on the surface of the earth, and the pin pegged all the way to the
Max.
right. So what happens when we touch the surface of the earth? It's called earthing. It's called grounding. You see, we don't want it to be this easy, but it is. Right? When we touch the surface of the earth, we discharge into the earth. It actually changes the polarity of the body. It can shift the alkalinity in the blood. It can change the polarity of 32 trillion cells in the human body. Human beings were original.
It's just the first one.
Oh.
Thoughts?
I honestly, I feel like, that explains some things. Because, like, especially since a lot of us adults, focus so much on going, just being on the go. And, like, a lot of people, but a lot of people I talk to, for instance, in roadside, they're just on the go, nonstop. Like, the one lady I talked to the other day, she was so focused on her go, that it sounded like she was running a marathon, and she was probably just like putting keys in her pocket and putting stuff in her car and all this other stuff. And I just asked her, "What's your phone number?" And she's like, "What? What was that? What's your phone number?" Huh? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. And I'm like, "What's your phone number?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, blah 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 blah." And I'm like, and it like the first part of the call, I had to ask her like 3 times, and it's because she was so involved in like her multitask stuff.
Shit, because my car broke, I have to pull everything
she
out.
forgot that I was on the phone with her in the first place, and there was quite a few people like that. And I'm like, if these people stop for 5 seconds to just kind of be in the moment,
Or just breathe.
and breathe, and like just step back, and like maybe touch grass with their feet, they may end up feeling a bit better. Like I know that when I go outside, I'll go outside to take a breather and stuff, and I'll forget that I have my shoes on, and forget that my shoes are not on. And I'll go outside, and the reason why I realize I forget that my shoes are not on is because when I can feel the pavement underneath my feet, but then I also feel the dirt in the ground, but I'm also like, ow, because like something stops in my foot.
Funny part, one of the channels I watch, he was doing something on that.
Yeah.
And what he did was, he had a meter, a little thing that you can buy, which is the same as using an electric meter.
Yeah.
And literally, he was like, "Does my body hold current on concrete?" Yes. So you actually don't need to touch dirt because dirt is in the concrete and the concrete's touching the dirt, so it goes through the concrete into you. That's why your house is grounded and can have electricity in it because of the foundation of your house.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that idea because like I feel like Cornelia, for instance, she's always outside on a lot of her videos, and she's always like got her feet bare, and she's always talking about reconnecting with the earth, and she's always talking about her spirituality and talking about like how she's reconnecting with like her injured self and like
her ancestors
and things of that nature that a lot of our current people neglect a lot or don't even think about.
Or don't give a shit about.
Or they're trying so hard to suppress it. Like,
see,
I got accused of avoidance today.
On that note, then that basically means you going outside, not just working out.
Yeah.
But I mean, you do that in the front yard too. But it's the thing of, if your bare feet are touching the ground, quite literally, you are grounding yourself. So that way you do not have the issue of depression or any of these other anxieties or bullshit.
Yeah, no, I feel like it melts away.
Yeah.
I feel like it just kind of drops.
It's like the whole point of being outside.
Yeah.
I mean, because they used to not have shoes. It was barefoot, the bare dirt, grass and sand with working with all this stuff.
You know who first reminded me of all this?
Huh.
Your sister.
Of course.
Like 13 years ago. 12, 13 years ago. When we were first started dating, the first like year we were dating and stuff.
Of course.
She'd go outside and she'd put her feet in the grass, in the dirt, and she would talk about how she's reconnecting with nature and how she's trying to talk to her, pagan gods and her, her spirituality, that sort of thing. And so I was like, wait, what? That I've never thought of that before. And she's like, you never noticed how like every time you touch it with your feet, like your feet, like heat exits through your feet or goes into your feet first. It doesn't go into the part of your body first.
Except for your head.
Yeah, except for your head, unless you have that part covered. And then it's harder to reach you and harder to reach your chi if your feet are covered. And so that's why a lot of times when we're at the gym and go to the pool, I put my feet in first before anything, because if the heat in my body is exiting into the water, then the coldness of the water is entering back into the feet, and it's reconnecting to my chi and my chakra.
But it's kind of the thing, it's like stepping into a sauna, your body tries to cool itself down, so you're actually, if you're checking your temper is actually less when you're in the sauna, and it's higher when you're in cold water.
Yeah, because the fact that your body is trying to eject or emit that heat to regulate, and then when you get in the pool, your body is surging in more heat to regulate the cold, and so it's as realignment.
The equilibrium of your energy and your body and your temperature.
Yeah, it's science and spirituality combined.
Well, the funny part is most things that's like Hinduism and monk stuff.
Yeah.
That's always like, this is how you become one with your true self, or how you can better your energy flow and not be a complete asshole, a freaking lunatic, a depressed douchebag. It's like, yeah, you should do that once a day, and then done.
Yeah, part of why I've been trying my hardest to be in the mindset that I have been, and I know that people have their own version of what I'm doing, and they have like their assumptions of what I'm doing in their head. One of the reasons what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to appreciate more of what is happening now around me, rather than counting down to a future date time where I think I'll be happier, or I believe I will be at peace, and trying to find peace in the moment, which is part of that whole recalibrating.
My brain goes into the thing that everybody, or a lot of people like to bitch about Andrew Tate on. He's like, I'm always busy. I don't have enough time to be depressed because I'm always active.
Yeah.
And you see me with that. I'm so damn active, doing so damn much. I don't have 2 seconds to be depressed. Depression would only slow me down. I'm not gonna slow down. Screw that.
Yeah.
I got the pedal to the ground on purpose.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing is I wanted to break past that. I wanted to make it to where I don't have to be always in the go to be able to fight against the enigma called depression that infects everybody and causes everybody
But
to
see, here's the funny part,
be down.
You figuring out how to make it so that way you don't feel those emotions is the same stuff that the supposed chemicals do with popping pills and shit.
Right.
So once you figure out how to do it without being on the constant go, but see, my brain also says constant go is playing with the kids, hanging out, doing enjoyable things while also working your ass basically to the bone to become a badass at whatever you're doing. Does that make sense? You have to have the equality of both good energy and the energy of hard work.
Right, I'm not arguing against that.
Balances.
Right, not arguing against that. Like today when I went out with the kids to film them and stuff, I was enjoying it even more than I normally do.
Oh yeah.
Because of the fact that I was putting myself into that mentality that
enjoy hanging out with your kids.
Yeah, and enjoy hanging out with the kids and being more in the moment and not have to be counting down to something.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about it today. When we went out to eat for the anniversary, and I was like, normally I'm counting down to March or February, because it's usually when the tax return comes in. Normally I'm counting down to that. Right now, I'm just simply trying to function while time is going on and just trying to enjoy what I have while I have it, and not like just counting down to a time, because like, I think it was a month or two ago, I was like, can we just skip this season? Or skip part of the season to get to the next one? Which means that I didn't want to experience that latter half of the year. And it would have missed...
Halloween, Thanksgiving,
Yeah, and
Christmas.
I would have missed that part because of the fact that it's usually pretty hellish for me. It's pretty hard to deal with. And now it's just like, maybe that is part of the test, is to try to enjoy that more. Try to,
Oh, yeah.
you know, basically break past that barrier and try to see
It's
value
part of
out
the
of it.
process, yes.
Yeah. Work through it.
Ready for the next one?
Sure.
It's about believing yourself. If you believe it will work out, you will see opportunities. If you believe it won't, you will see obstacles. If you're not going to do anything about it, stay the same place. If you keep making excuses, it'll make tomorrow harder. But if you just do it, it will make it more easy. The hardest choices lead to a better path. It's about believing.
Yep.
Now I'm gonna play that again for them, just in case they didn't hear it because of the background noise.
It's about believing yourself. If you believe it will work out, you will see opportunities. If you believe it won't, you will see obstacles. If you're not going to do anything about it, stay in the same place. If you keep making excuses, it will make tomorrow harder. But if you just do it, it will make it more easy. The hardest choices lead to a better path. It's about
Yep. I can think of quite a few people that would work well for, actually.
Oh, I was gonna talk about that. How you've been. All they do is. Rah, rah, rah,
Yep.
rah. It's like, yeah, well, you know, quite literally, you're literally holding yourself in the negative mindset. That's why you are not moving forward or up, because you're stuck and always looking down. When you
Yep.
start looking up, you move up.
Yep. Because obstacles are literally just things that you have to do anyway. And
And they're supposed to make you stronger, and if you let them beat you down, then you'll never become your true self and become the strong, more powerful you.
yep, it's about flipping the mentality. So
Oh,
instead
hell
of like,
yeah.
instead of looking at it in a negative light and saying, oh, this obstacle, oh, this hard thing, oh, I have to do this, oh, I have to do that. It's like, no, you have the opportunity to do that. You have the pleasure of doing that. Like, whenever, like, for instance, okay, let me give you an example. When I went to the gym with him, you know, years ago, I was like, oh, I guess
At the very beginning,
I
yeah.
guess we got to do that. Like, yeah, I guess we got to do that. And he's like, no, you get to do that. Not I guess you're gonna do that. You get to do that. And it was like the phrasing, the wording. This is an opportunity to do that. This is the you are. It's kind of like he said. It's like you want to go to the movies. Well, that's an opportunity to go to the movies and enjoy yourself. You're gonna go to the gym and you're gonna enjoy yourself. And it's not a chore. It's not turned into a chore. You're gonna eventually learn to love it.
As soon as it's called a chore, everybody's like, ugh.
Yeah, they go, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. And then it's just not. And the people that we brought to the gym with us have been like, and I can feel it, like just freaking off of them.
And it's like, come on, no, have fun. But I'm lifting shit. That's the fun.
Yeah.
Work through your bullshit while lifting heavy things to become more powerful.
Yeah, normally,
I gotta put in effort.
especially like when we push ourselves harder, or especially when like he puts it on a higher weight, because normally he puts it on the lower weights and we just do more reps. Sometimes when he puts it on the higher weight, I go, oh shit, we're going there. And then like when we do it, it's like we get to the set, he'll literally like, he doesn't make much sound, he just goes, yep, that was good. I'll be like, oh yeah! And he just kind of like starts laughing.
You gotta get super loud, and it makes me laugh because it's like, okay, he's just showing off.
Yeah, no, it's me. It's me in being in the moment and like receiving the endorphins and the dopamine and being like, yeah. It's kind of like when you're going to a movie and you're like watching Captain America catch the hammer and you're like, yeah, like that sort of thing. Like it's the whole being in the moment and appreciating it for what it is. And so the reason why I bring that up is like people will often see their obstacles. Like they'll see things they think they want or they think they need, and they'll be like, "Oh, but I gotta do all of this stuff to get there." And it's like, Yeah,
I,
sure.
I get to do all this stuff
get to
get
do
what
that.
I want.
I literally told that to, there's a friend of mine that I have been talking to about this a lot. And he'll often say, oh, well, I have to do this and I have to do that. And I'll be like, no. He's like, wait, what? And I'm like, he's like, yeah, I do have to do that. I'm like, yeah, you get to do that. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you get to do that. It's an opportunity. It's not necessarily an obstacle. It's an opportunity. Yes, you can see it as an obstacle, but how about you flip it around and turn it into an opportunity? Turn it into a positive.
I think I had this soundbite. I know I at least showed it to you and you listened to it. It's the thing where the employees always, well, this thing happened, and the boss says, good.
Yep.
This thing happened, good.
Mm-hmm.
And then he tells you about the situation, and you don't have to say what you're going. The thing, I know what you're gonna say because it's what you always say. So what's that? Good. Exactly. Because to be there is a good thing. I have this obstacle in front of me. Good. It'll teach you and make you grow.
Yep. No, it's pretty interesting. I mean, I struggle with it myself still because it's it's a learning experience.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
I'm in the transition period. I'm in the here's the next stage of growth of TPAW learning more of who he is, and with that comes
your true self.
Yeah, with that becomes changes. With that comes the head of the previous face starts still tries to poke in. The previous mentalities and attitudes keep trying to get reflected back at me because other people around me who are still stuck in the previous
also
notion.
Something. What if it's not you? It's a little. I like to call them demons, or you can call them whatever little entity name you want to give it. But it's the negative energy, whether you project it or not. That always you're worthless. You're an ass. It's like
I'll be able to just call that intrusive
but
thoughts.
yes, I am an ass. Like me.
Yeah.
It's like you're an asshole. Aw, thanks.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah, no,
I remember the first time you told me that somebody called him an ass. I'm like, oh, they really like me.
Yeah, no,
And you went, what the fuck?
kind of mind blowing because people around me normally what they do is they just kind of when someone goes, oh, you're an asshole, they keep taking it back and they're like, I'm not an asshole or whatever, and or
Why
they'll
are you calling me an ass?
yeah, they'll say yes, I am an asshole, but it's such an angry negative way, they're still offended, but they want to cover up the fact they're offended. Whereas he was just like, yes, I am an asshole. And I'm like...
With the biggest shit-eating Joker grin ever.
Yep. It was super interesting. And the friend of mine
the first
who does the
time you
same
were
thing
wait,
was
what the
snide.
fuck?
Yeah, exactly. And there was a friend of mine who, depending on his mood, will either answer similar to him, which is why I keep comparing the two, or he will get this very almost disgusted but snide, sarcastic reaction to it. You could tell he's trying to cover up the fact that he's offended, and then suddenly he goes into a tangent that shows more of what he's feeling rather than what he's denying. And he's it's like he's in denial of the fact that he's mad. And I'm just going, you don't sound like the way you're talking about. Okay, sure. And I just kind of go, mm-hmm, nod.
It's
all right.
I gotta listen to this, so I'll just do this.
Just go, nod head, okay. And I just kind of, and that's why I sometimes I'll be okay, sure. And it's I'm listening to it, I'm acknowledging it, but I'm
well, the
you could
reason
be doing it different.
I brought up the good
Yeah.
is the next time that happens, all this bad stuff's happening, good. Just start saying good.
Yeah.
See if that'll change the inclination.
Yeah. No, I'm starting to think that I need to shift. I was thinking about that today. Not today, but the last time we were at the gym in my locker room, I was like, maybe I need to change my wording a little bit. Maybe I need to change the way I am phrasing some stuff. Because when you talked about how you're clashing with somebody's teaching styles, I was like, what if that person's clashing with mine? And I'm like, maybe I need to alter it up a little bit, shake it up a little bit, throw a bit of chaos in the mix to shift it to more of a positive. But yeah, no, I like that soundbite a lot. Is basically what I was trying to say.
Here's one thing I found. When they
Okay.
tell you something, yes and. Don't say but. Say and. It's just one of the little sound bites that got thrown at me earlier
Okay.
this week with some, because
Yeah.
Me just having extra
Yeah,
sound bites
because
in the
but
background.
sounds like in a disagreement. It sounds like
no,
a
but
like
literally discounts the yes. You acknowledging what they said.
yeah,
When you say yes and,
yeah,
you're literally saying they're right, and here's some stuff, and the everything after the and, if you say it positively, should uplift the other person while also uplifting yourself because you're not being negative.
yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Is but is like a, for some people it's interpreted as like a disagreement, but for some people it's like a, as you said, discount.
Yes.
Or either way, it's a negative. But whereas
That's
if you
how it's
say,
usually seen, yeah.
but if you say yes, like I can see what you're talking about, and this, it's also adding to whatever they're talking about.
Usually.
Yes, I can see the connotation.
Yeah. The issue I always had with Kirk Duncan is he's like, well, buts are bad, and so are ands. Because it's like, no, and's just saying I'm adding more crap.
You know how many times I write and in a book? You've heard me write and in a book a billion
Well,
times.
he was talking about it in the way, like, you're literally, you said a sentence, but, which discounts everything he said before that. And he was
Yeah.
saying, and some people, depending, it's a psychological thing.
Well, the word
because
and also connects two thoughts together, so that's why it's called
usually,
and.
yeah,
And
it's a better way to make a combined sentence.
It also
instead of
is-
two different sentences.
it's also inclusion, because if you're saying, this is my thought, and this is your thought, suddenly you're including the two together, and it sounds like an agreement and an inclusion at the same time.
For me, it's yes,
Some
da,
it's
da,
just
da,
an
da, da,
add-on.
and here's how you improve it.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. The inclusion.
Yes.
It's adding two together, rather than being like, no, me, that's it.
Yes, you are correct. But you're being a complete asshole, and here's what.
As opposed to, yes, and you're
And-
being a complete asshole.
But here's how you improve it.
Yep.
No,
Which
I
you
don't
still
add
said
in the
but.
but until I get like to yeah. No, I did that one on purpose to discount the you're being a butt.
Yeah.
So that way maybe they won't feel bad with the next thing I say.
That's fair. That's interesting how you do that wording.
I double negative it so it would be a positive.
That is so interesting. I'm gonna have to think about that every time you say that now.
Yes.
I'm gonna start noticing
Dang.
that.
And but to discount the negativity, positive.
I'm gonna start thinking about that a lot now, especially
Because I
like
add
when say
butts
things.
in way more than I need to, and I've realized it a lot.
It's because you like big butts and you cannot lie.
Well, I like the juicy ass, but that's neither here nor there. It's a good cushion when you're eating her out. But anywho, it's
Get with the butt. Butt transition.
well, I have an issue with that because, and that's another but. Because is also a way to transition.
There are so many butts.
There are so many things that are used as buts and ands to compound sentences. I know that I use them in excess, but that's also because I talk so fast. I usually have to do 2 to 3 sentences in a row, so I have buts, ands, and becauses in all of my sentences.
Now
And I know that.
My brain just said,
I am
all
old.
the ass.
Of course.
Yeah, I get what you're talking about, though. I just had to-
Yeah, but
throw
once you
that
become
slinger.
aware that you do that,
Mhm.
I'm not good at it verbally.
Yeah.
I'm good at it when I try to talk to the phone to say what I said. And then it's like, but, or because. I'm like, fuck, shit, alright, gotta fix that. End of a sentence, start of a new sentence.
Yeah.
I'm becoming more self-aware of it and stopping and rewinding and re-saying what I'm saying.
That's fair.
I'm not 100% there.
You're getting
I'm about 60 to 70% there.
But you're getting there.
And I'm getting there.
And you're getting there.
And I'm getting there. With all the buts.
I figured I'd add
because
max.
since you're laughing, I'll throw something funny from a comedian.
What is up is down, and down is up.
Eddie Griffin.
Down into space, standing up on Earth. This is how we built the pyramids. starts there on both sides all the way to the top. Now you let the sand dry out and drop that brick right through that bitch. Sand under pressure when it's dry moves like glue. That's why you always find viaducts in all of the motherfucking pyramids. So the sand shoot the fuck out the bitch. Now you have a hollow. And it's built into the ground in the same specs. It's not really a pyramid, it's a diamond. It is now topped off by quartz, and at the bottom is topped off by quartz. When moonlight comes through, it refracts off of the quartz in the bottom, the first refracting laser, illuminating the night sky, which is why they call Pharaoh God, because he can turn night into day. Thus the all-seeing eye on your dollar bill above the pyramid. Because the only part of the human body made out of quartz is a human eye. When it dries out, it's small granules of quartz. That's why light transfers through. Holla at your boy.
I like that.
That one I just thought was a real interesting way, because the sound popped up and I'm like, and?
It like,
because there's nothing wrong with what he said. It's all, factual. You wet sand, what's it do?
yeah, no,
It becomes hard and stiff like concrete. It dries out and then
it turns into a whetstone essentially.
yeah.
And they used to use whetstones to sharpen blades and weapons and things like that, like axes.
But I like that what he brought up is a thing I'm always talking about, or I've talked about previously. I don't know about it on the podcast, but I know in my life I've talked about it previously. It's not a fucking pyramid. It's a damn diamond, because it was the easiest and best way to make it, because you built the bottom first and then you built the top, because the parts that hold it are the four corners, then you can just fill it in with all the other bricks.
Yeah.
It's the simplest way to build.
It also made me think of Vegas.
But
Cause like there's the pyramids that are in Vegas, and on one of the pyramids has
it's
a
all
giant
glass.
light coming out of it. And so, like, all the stuff that he was talking about with light refraction and reflection and up is down and
because
all
they
that
always
stuff.
make sure that there's quartz at the bottom, where they found a spot where the bottom of the diamond, the reverse pyramid, under the pyramid, the bottom is quartz, just like they show in the old pictures or descriptions of the pyramid. It was a silver top with a quartz, so that way the light was refracted all the way through the pyramid. So that way, that's why they called like he said, Pharaoh God, because he turned night into day.
Yeah. It also reminded me of, like, the first time I ever saw the wife with us, with the family, down in Vegas, and we were standing in front of the one pyramid that had the giant light coming out of it.
Yeah, the big ass one.
And the look on her face when she was just like, holy shit. It was so fucking, like, Marvel and awesome. Like, I was just like going, yep, this is what it's like in Vegas. And I'm like, welcome to Vegas, baby. And like, and we're walking around the pyramid and stuff. And the first night, we were just walking around the pyramid. I think it was one of the nights we actually went into the pyramids and actually stayed at the hotel and everything. But like, we Dad wanted us to stay at a couple of the different hotels that were throughout Vegas. But like, it was so great seeing how it looked like on the inside. And then we went and explored to the very top of where that pyramid is. We took the elevator. We took the elevator all the way to the top of it.
To the observation deck.
Yeah, observation decks and everything, and it was great. It was awesome. And I got to see it. I got to see the light reflecting off her face, and she's all radiant and everything. And I'm all like, ah! And so like, it was awesome though. Like, but that reminded me of that memory. I was like, I don't remember that memory existed.
Well, it's funny, the littlest things that you don't even think about, it just is attached to another memory. Or smell that is attached to a memory. Oh, that smells like the food Mom used to cook when I was... Wait, I don't remember that. Sort of thing. Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I love that sort of shit. Because when you're able to find something that can bring back a pleasant memory, like a smell or a sound, you try to keep that near you, so that way if you ever feel like you're in a cruddy mood, you can go, it's a good day.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Oh yeah, no, I love that. Because I'm all about smell.
Same here.
Especially with food. It's like, it's gonna be a good meal.
So I'm not the only one who's a weirdo with smell. Like,
No, we're odd males because our olfactory senses are actually more in tune than most other males, because females are usually the ones considered to have better olfactory senses.
yeah.
But I've actually disproven that, especially with certain things, with certain people. It's like, well, that's not done. What do you mean? It doesn't smell done.
Yeah.
And then they go to touch it. No, it still needs to cook for 15 minutes. How'd you
Yep.
know that? I can smell it.
Yeah, no, she's just like that. Like when it comes to like, there was one thing I remember like, I think it was like a year in, she had like, we called it the puppy nose, is how she called it. Where like we were in the living room.
That's what Lucille called it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Later on, well, she called it the puppy nose, but then all of a sudden Cass is calling it the puppy nose. Because like,
It's the olfactory
yeah,
senses.
because like she could like smell the food and smell what was missing in it, or smell whatever was in it. And and she'd go like, do it all.
It's missing an
And then
ingredient.
sniff it, whatever, and then like she'd be like, "It's missing this," and I'd be like, "How the hell did you know that?"
Well, with the CMT with me, now because I'm 40, I can't taste like I used to.
Yeah,
So I have to rely on my smeller, which is technically, you still taste it, you're just tasting it through the air, not through your tongue.
yeah,
But my nose works 10 times better than my tongue because of the nerve issues with the CMT.
yeah.
So smelling it is actually a better taster for me than tasting it. It's an abnormality with myself that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I find it interesting about all this stuff we're talking about, because like lately, especially the last week, like there's been random memories that like I've just been like, I thought you were gone forever, or where'd you come from? And it's like just little trigger stuff. Like people now associate triggers with like,
Bad things.
bad things, but like
triggers can also be
they can be positive
beneficial.
things, or they can be neutral things that like aren't good or bad. They just are there. And like today, for instance, we were at the Golden Corral, and for some reason, I had this trigger memory of Mom telling me, probably because she's, I'm wearing her ashes, so she's probably, I would get an inclination, but to get the table cleaned off after we got done eating, put all the cups in the center, and then hand the lady the tip. And what's funny is I am extravagant as TPAW, bit more quieter as my real persona. But so I went because like the lady goes, what happened? We're eating our food, we're BSing, I'm flirting with her, she's flirting with me, all this other stuff. We're having dinner, couple anniversary, and doing her stuff. And the waitress keeps coming by to get her drinks and stuff. There was two major groups that were next to us. One of the groups was like on the side tables next to us. It was like 5 fucking tables stretched out across the freaking floor, and there was like, it felt like 20-30 people over there. And then there was another group that was behind them. And none of them tipped the waitress. None of them. Like,
That's rude.
there was a giant group of people that she was cleaning up after and doing stuff for, and none of them tipped her. Like, she got stiffed completely by both groups. So she was really down. And so
I
after we
always
got done
forget to
eating,
grab cash when I go, so that, yeah,
I did.
that's my biggest issue.
I didn't realize that I tipped this much because like I don't think about it. It was just the wife's suggestion at one point, and I was like, okay, we'll do that amount because it was more than $7. But like, I went ahead and upped it to 10, and so I was like, okay, cash back $10. That way we can tip the waitress a decent amount. Did the calculation, and I was like, wait, with how much I just paid, that is literally 25% of the total price. And I'm like, that is not a bad tip. And so I went ahead and
That's way better than they get on most tables.
yeah, and so I went ahead and I walked over to the waitress to make a display of it, because I'm like, the wife's telling me what she's hearing from other people around her, which is unreal because she normally doesn't hear shit. But she was hearing from around her. She's all like, yeah, they didn't tip her. And I'm like, wait, what? And she's like, yeah, they were talking all about it and everything. They were telling a story about it. And then she asked the lady if she was fine. And then the waitress that was working with us literally comes over, and she's like working on the table behind, to next to us. That was just having, it was an old couple with what looked like their grandson. And they walk away from the table, and she's sitting there cleaning it up. Really nice, what looks like a Jewish lady, or could be, you know, someone that's older, and she's the waitress, and her name was Alba, and because she wrote it on,
nice.
yeah, she wrote it on a receipt with a smiley face, and so she comes over and she sees that Amber left her, or Ghostel left her wallet on the table, and because she went to go pee. I am not thinking about it. I'm about to walk away from the table to go get food, you know, more probably dessert, and I was like, hey, hold on, and I'm like, what's up? And she's all like, you gonna grab the wallet? And I'm like, oh wait, that's right, I should probably grab that. And she's all like, yeah, I just making sure it's safe, you know, because I people tend to do
Sketchy
bad
shit.
stuff, and I'm like, that's true, thank you. And so I grabbed the wallet, put it in my jacket, walked off, and she just kind of did the shrug thing, like I'm just trying to help. So I came back, she's gone, and I put the wallet back on the table, put the little plate of like brownies and pudding and stuff on the table.
Gives
And
you like sugar.
yeah, yes, and pudding. But like, and then the wife came back, and I had to explain to the wife what happened. But like, the waitress was so down or something. She was just so because there was like two or three sets of people that didn't tip her, and this is like an hour later, and she's just like really feeling down. So me, being me, and just like going until we got down, I'm sitting here on the table, I'm like, oh god. And then the wife's like, what happened? I'm like, oh shit. And she's like, you're there, aren't you? And I'm like, I think I just heard the ding. I'm like, I'm done. And so like, so she's like, all right, let's go. And I'm like, you've been waiting for like a while, haven't you? And she's like, I mean, I literally finished my food in 20 minutes. And I'm like, I told you to eat more. And she's like, I did. I ate some more, and you saw me eat it. And I'm like, sure. And so like, we were going back and forth about her eating disorder, but like, basically, I get up, and then we go over to the waitress, and we go over to her, and she's all like going, have a good day. And I'm like, we're not done yet. And she's like, what? Like, she's like, oh shit, like I'm gonna get yelled at. And I'm like, I pull out the money. I'm like, yeah, I went ahead and letting her. I'm like, just letting you know, we went ahead and I wiped down the table, and or at least wiped down whatever was there that I could see was dirty.
Made it nice and neat.
Made it all nice and pretty and stuff. And then the wife helped out with explaining. And then she's all like, oh my god, thank you. And I'm like, yeah, and here you go, here's the cash. And I did that. I was super loud. I wasn't quiet about it. I was like, here's the cash. We went ahead. I was like, my mom raised me better than that, so we went ahead and got it all taken care of. And I slowly watched as like 5 or 8 sets of heads at tables just turn to look at us as they're clearly watching us talk. And I just collectively made the entire restaurant that just didn't give a shit look like a fucking asshole. I was like, TPAW out. And I was like, as we were walking out, I'm like, and she just like walks out all purposeful and everything, and she's all super proud of me, and I'm just like going, what? Just doing what I was raised to do. And then I just kind of walked out.
Here's the funny part. You were raised to be polite and tip. The reason you were brass and loud is because you see my lunacy and like being loud's not a bad thing.
Plus, also, I was pretty annoyed. I was like, wait, are you fucking serious? She's being treated like
adds
shit.
a couple decibels to
Yeah.
Listen here, people.
Yeah, no,
Here's
she
some
was.
money because you're an awesome waitress.
Yep. No, I made a bit of a display about it, but it was kind of like the subtleness
And
of like.
there's nothing wrong with that because a lot of people don't think about tips because at most restaurants, which Golden Corral doesn't do this, but at most other restaurants, they bring you the ticket and you're supposed to write in the tip.
Yeah.
And at Golden Corral, because each waitress or waiter has their own section, you have to tip them specifically yourself.
And I make it a point to hunt down that waitress and give them their money directly.
Oh hell yeah!
I like used to be you just leave the money on the table, but like that's the thing is people are sketchy and they'll just steal it.
Now.
So I literally walked up to her and was like, hey, we're not done yet. Here you go. Like I gotta get you your propers. And so like I thanked her for it, told her what we did, and then was like, my mom raised me better than that, and then like I said it super loud enough and everything, and I'm like watching his like heads just go, and they're like watching us talking shit, and as we're walking out, I hear, did you see that guy? And then like one person was all like, did he just hand her money? And then like one guy was like, that's what you're supposed to do, jackass. And like I heard a bunch of back and forth going on as I'm walking out, and I'm just like going, TPAW out. I'm a badass. And I'm like, and then of course I hear the voice in my head going, Karnage was rubbing off on you.
I mean.
Yeah. And then as we walk out, I feel so great about it that I grab the wife from around behind and go, hey. And she's all like, hey.
You're a lot of fun, goobers.
Yes.
So in 1784, Thomas Jefferson tried to end slavery in all territories, but his bill lost Congress by 1 vote.
Oh shit, so there's like a chance where we could have actually ended slavery like very early on, right?
Yeah,
Do you know who voted against him?
Martin Luther King's grandfather. So in 1784,
You heard that, right? Or you want me to replay it?
Go ahead and replay that.
So in 1784, Thomas Jefferson tried to end slavery in all territories, but his bill lost Congress by 1 vote.
Oh shit, so there's like a chance where we could have actually ended slavery like very early on, right?
Yeah,
Do you know who voted against him?
Martin Luther King's grandfather.
The fuck?
Yup.
What in the actual serious fuck? Is that true? Like, do we can we
Look it up.
like, should we
Look it
fact
up.
check that? Like, why do I
just
not
thought it
believe
was
that?
an interesting factoid because, you know, especially here recently,
Why would
the
his
whole
grandfather?
reparations thing
Yeah.
being a hot topic, and well, for my slaved ancestors, dude, none of your ancestors were the slaves. Look at your genealogical pool.
Hang on.
No, Martin Luther King's
Yeah, family history of Martin Luther King Jr.
grandfather.
Willis Williams was born in 1810. Was described as an old slavery time preacher and exhorter.
You want me to replay it so that we can get who it was?
Yeah.
Because I don't think he said Martin
No.
Luther King Jr. I think it was his dad's. But that might be a mistranslation.
So in 1784, Thomas Jefferson tried to end slavery in all territories, but his bill lost Congress by 1 vote.
Oh shit, so there's like a chance where we could have actually ended slavery like very early on, right?
No, wait. Go to the part to type,
Yeah.
clear out what's in there.
But in 1784, Thomas Jefferson
Thomas Jefferson in 1784 ending slavery.
1784.
84. Read it.
Early in his public life, Jefferson was one of the first statesmen anywhere to take action to end slavery. In 1778, he introduced a Virginia law prohibiting the importation of enslaved Africans. In 1784, he proposed a ban on slavery in the Northwest Territory, a new land ceded by the British in 1783.
You might just click on it and see what else it says.
Yeah. In the notes on the state of Virginia published in 1785, he proposed a plan of gradual emancipation. But after 1785, while still holding his belief in the injustice of slavery, he was publicly silent. See here, I'm looking to see if there's anything mentioned about the other guy. There doesn't seem to be any mention of the other guy. That's interesting.
Do you know why?
That they erased it?
Because why would we let everybody else know that the guy who literally died to get blacks equal rights, great-grandfather literally said, fuck you, leave the slaves alone. Because how much you want to bet Martin Luther King Jr.,
Yeah.
great-grandfather, or
Mhm.
great-grandfather, was a black slave owner?
I believe that actually.
Because, I mean, that's the facts that, you know, I'm always bringing up. It's like this whole racist thing's complete bullshit because blacks owned more slaves and so did Native Americans than whites did. So go fuck yourself with your damn racist lies and bullshit and propaganda you've been taught since you were in elementary school when I was in high school.
I'm starting to believe the only way we're going to know the truth is if we go back in time.
And you know what happens as soon as you go backwards in time, you fuck it all up. And then we're at a different timeline.
NASA says our Earth got 15% greater since the 2000s, with over 2 million square kilometers of green area. Satellite data indicates the Antarctic ice gained on average 100 billion tons per year from 1992 to 2008. And research indicates global emissions went down 7 to 8% last decade. Wake up, these wildfires aren't from climate change. NASA.
You want to listen to that one again?
Yeah, my brain is still stuck on whether his grandfather voted against slavery.
No, it wasn't. He didn't vote against slavery. He was the one person in Congress that didn't vote to end it.
Votes to end slavery.
And it was a Congress vote.
Old slavery time preacher and a Baptist minister. Senior took over.
Martin Luther King Sr.
Yeah.
But it'd be his father. So type in Martin Luther King Sr.'s father in the search engine. That way maybe it'll tell you who he was. And then you can look him up.
When MLK was just 2 years old, his father changed his own name to Martin Luther King in tribute to the German theologian Martin Luther, and decided to change his son's name too. So he was not actually originally Martin Luther King.
Nope.
That is so fucking interesting.
Not a lot of people know that one.
I didn't even know that.
That surprises me, but I mean, that also kind of proves the point of the whole system shit.
The fact that the history is written by certain people and then we're trying to be
History
revised.
is written by the winners, and guess what? The winners don't tell the truth.
And then the newer people are trying to claim to revise it and then claim that it's whitewashed.
Or it's the whole like Mandela effect. There's facts that they never taught us in school because you're not supposed to know. Shut up! It's a Mandela effect. That never happened. Now listen to this little fun fact.
NASA says our Earth got 15% greater since the 2000s, with over 2 million square kilometers or greater. Satellite data indicates the Antarctic ice gained on average 100 billion tons per year from 1992 to 2008. And research indicates global emissions went down 7 to 8% last decade. Wake up. These wildfires aren't from climate change.
Huh.
Yeah. Literally in the 2000s, the Earth is the greenest it's ever been. Emissions are down, the lowest they've been in the last decade. And the record from 90 to 2008 is 10,000 tons of ice literally on top of the fucking South Pole. Antarctica.
Right.
So the ice caps are melting. No, they're just moving from the North Pole to the South Pole. Go fuck yourself, shut up. Nothing's wrong with the Earth. It's going to keep moving. And if it destroys us, guess what?
Do you know how hard it was to look up the Martin Luther King thing, by the way? Normally when you type it into Google or you type in certain keywords into it, like I literally just asked a question to Google and it brought up like information I didn't ask for. Information that was like
It sent you
proper,
15 other directions.
yes, and
Yep.
Thomas Jefferson was one of those directions. And it was so interesting on how hard it was just to find the stupid answer while he's playing the other video, and I'm like getting so sensory confused. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm so confused now. Why is Google not giving me the right answer? I'm researching this
Because
previous
Google
thing.
is worthless piece of shit. It's only good for it owning, YouTube and maybe hopefully
and
one day
data
paying
mining.
us for us being badasses.
And data mining. And as far as the global warming thing goes, he was talking about the whole thing about global emissions, things like that, that is a famous talking point that a lot of billionaires love to use.
It's not even, the emissions are down.
Yeah.
1990 to 2008, I think was no, that was something different. But it was in the 90s up into the early 2000s, basically till 2010. The Earth has been the greenest it's ever been. Shut
Yeah.
up, quit bitching, because we're not killing everything.
Also, another reason why it's probably the greenest it's ever been is because COVID provided a weather reset and provided a nature reset. Yeah, it
This
did.
was before COVID.
I'm talking about how recently, in the last 3 years, we had COVID happen, which caused less people to be driving, less people to be out and about, which
Actually,
caused
that
more
hindered
reset.
more of the Earth, because if you've noticed, the grass has not grown since the pandemic, the fake pandemic, and since
I don't know.
everybody was inside and nobody was driving around except for people who had to drive to work, or people like me who drove for Grubhub or DoorDash.
You're one of the few people, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but here's the funny part. The grass hasn't grown green or properly, and they've raised the price on freaking water so much. Now the wife's afraid that we can't afford the water, so we're not watering our grass, so it's literally just dead, staring at black.
Well, that's the thing though. Doesn't that add to the global warming argument though, with our droughts and with like
Wrong.
water dropping, like water levels?
This is something Jordan Peterson's brought up a few times. It's really stupid that they're trying to charge, when everything's in inflation, us twice as much as they were charging us before the pandemic. So now we can't even water our lawns to show that there's nothing wrong with the environment, because if we water our lawns, it grows perfectly fine. Because you saw when you came over a couple times, or when you've driven past before
So why can't they
the
just dump
pandemic
water?
hit, and they overcharge us for water. Because as soon as they start overcharging us for water, and my grass was no longer being watered,
So why
my
can't
grass died.
why can't they just dump water into like the Antelope Island? Because Antelope Island is dry as fuck right now in various parts.
But see, here's the funny part: the pipeline that brings us water, they've also fucked us on, because they've diverted it to Nevada, to Las Vegas, and other places that are desert, and taken it away from the bigger desert called Utah.
So now we're a desert
We are
state.
getting more fucked than anywhere else on water.
So why do they cause those rules and laws and regulations then on water usage if it's not such a problem?
The truth is, it's not an issue, but they're too afraid, and because of the 1950-something or 40-something proclamation that 10 or 12 countries signed, nobody can dig up or cut off any of the ice of the Antarctic, because the Antarctic has the most fresh water there is. If we literally took the water from the Antarctic and used it in places that are having droughts, but if we're having a drought, then how the fuck is global warming going to melt the ice caps if we're literally in drought mode? Which means we don't have enough water, which means...
So are you suggesting they melt the ice caps anyway?
No, I'm suggesting we take off, like, we literally cut out 20 by 20 blocks, and the places that are having droughts, we literally put it in some sort of container, or put it in the reservoir to melt fresh water, to literally pump into our water systems, and because we're doing that, lower the price of water to basically be 50 cents. Pennies on the dollar of what it is now.
You know part of why I get confused about the global warming argument?
Because it's all bullshit, and they circle themselves and say the one thing and then completely contradict themselves the next second.
Well, that's an answer you give, but what I'm trying to come up with, what I'm trying to say is, something you learn in science class is that water is a renewable resource.
Yes.
There's always a renewable area to it. So if you have global warming, or if you have water droughts, then that means you have a severe depletion. So if you have a renewable resource that is somehow heavily depleted, shouldn't it be recovering, and shouldn't it be coming back at some point?
But here's the thing. That also goes into the last soundbite. Every year since, I think it was, I don't remember what year he said, for the last decade.
Right.
Antarctica has literally had, I think it was 10 or 100 tons of ice put on top of it every year for the last decade, since 2013.
So I don't know, government just take helicopters
so hang
and
on.
fly
Think
in.
about that. Think about that. If that is where all of the water is going, it is a renewable resource, but guess what? It's just not staying here.
So if you take
And because of the 1940 or 40-something, 50-something agreement that I think it was 8 to 12 countries, I can't remember the exact number, I have to look it up, signed for Antarctica. You're not allowed to take off the ice, you're not allowed to dig, you're not allowed to technically do anything, and technically nobody's allowed to make claim to any part of Antarctica because it's owned by every country and at the same time no country. It is its own private island that technically you can only go there if you pay millions upon millions of dollars to be dragged there. And here's hoping you don't die while you're there and do something stupid.
So, instead of spending
It's a tourist trap, it's all a lie.
$500 billion on a war effort, we could be spending at least $5 to $10 billion of it on helicopters to take ice from Antarctica and drop it in various places to help, reduce the global warming effect that they keep claiming exists and the droughts.
And see, here's the funny part. If you put it somewhere so that way the water could be distributed properly, equally, and especially in desert climates,
Yeah.
because it renews itself, because the part that doesn't go into the system, because while it's melting it will also evaporate, which means it will become clouds, which means it will go back to Antarctica, and the 10 tons will just keep pounding on. 10 tons a year. I think it said 10 tons a year. If it's 10 tons a year for every decade, then every 5 years we go get a freaking 10-ton block and bring it here. Or 10-ton block, and we separate it, or figure out a way to add it into the system. But then it becomes the whole cost scenario. Why is it? Because it would be because of how much it costs to also
Not like
take the salt out of salt water, or currently how much they would charge you to do that. It is cheaper to just dump all the chemicals into the water that is in our sewage system. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but my question is the government right now is spending around $500 billion.
Oh, they're doing more than that.
Biden is currently signing a deal for $500 billion to do a war effort, or at least to assist
for Iraq,
the other.
Palestine, or Ukraine. Pick
Yeah,
one.
like, yeah,
They're
one of
wasting
the-
money in other countries instead of spending the money in this country, even though we're like, what is it, 23 to $25 trillion in debt.
Yeah,
But yet we're sending money to other people. Go fuck yourself, leave me alone, let me have my fun.
yeah. Like I'm wondering why we haven't just solved these issues in the first place, and it seems like we're entering
Because the
another
idiots
war
who
effort.
actually have the money say, shut up, just do your job, bitch. Because they couldn't give two fucks about us.
Like, I honestly, I was watching a couple of videos recently about the bill that they're going to be signing soon, or if they haven't already signed it.
Supposed to be signed soon.
That is, supposed to be a $500 billion
But see, here's
effort.
the funny part. The thing about Iraq versus Palestine, guess what? It's not Palestine. It's Hamas.
Huh.
The, what is it? Are you typing it in wrong, homie? Did you forget a capital?
I'm pretty sure I didn't forget it. Let's try that.
Dude, stop. Password was changed 21 days ago.
No, I know. That's my thing, is I'm trying a couple of the different passwords that I would have used.
You do it too many times, you're just gonna lock you out.
No, it did not lock me out. Let me go
You
ahead.
gotta get on your phone, go into your freaking. It's in your YouTube.
I'm hoping that the wife didn't fall asleep. There we go.
Give it a sec. But anywho, it's the whole thing that it's all bullshit.
Yeah, no, I feel like that, because I was talking to her about it earlier today when we were parking in Golden Corral parking lot and stuff. I was talking about it.
The lunacy of
Yeah,
what they're
someone she knows
propagandizing.
is over there, country over from where they're sending shit to. What is they're talking about sending shit to?
Iraq
Yeah,
or
and
Ukraine or whatever the fuck.
yeah,
over there.
and the person was all like, if we have to wear full gear, then that means that we're preparing to get bombed. And they were having to wear full gear.
Okay, and here's the funny part. Why are we helping everybody else and we can't even figure out our own shit because we're 23 trillion in debt? We're sending everybody else the money, let's fix our fucking finances. And no offense to the rest of the world, go fucking suck dick, eat shit, and die.
Yeah, I I don't know.
if it sent the message.
I'm questioning a lot of shit right now about our government and about how everything's
It's not even
functioning.
the government. It's the idiots that tell the government, the people we elect into office, shut the fuck up and do your job. Because let's see. Obama didn't do any of the shit he said he was going to do or attempt to do. Trump said, fuck you. I'm not going to listen to you and do everything you tell me to, kiss my ass. And shit actually happened. Because he didn't listen to the people above him who have the giant money bags that can literally get him out of any debt, anything that he's completely fucked up on fully.
Yeah, as far as this goes,
just type a message hit enter.
I don't know. I feel like with
Hop over to the YouTube and throw in a message because it might be easier to do that with the way this thing's different.
I feel like with everything going on in the world right now, I feel like they need to take a step back from everything they're talking about with like Ukraine effort, because Ukraine is it was originally part of Russia in the first place.
Is it a Russian?
It's not really our responsibility, and the fact that they're trying so hard to do the whole
Well,
save
you know
Ukraine,
why, right?
it's like it's not our country.
It's moving the goalposts. We're
Yeah.
not supposed to move NATO any closer. We literally brainwashed or sweet talked through Biden's son to get the guy who's the president of Ukraine as president of Ukraine, so NATO can sign a deal with him, so that way they could quite literally take over.
Yeah,
That's all it is. It's just complete bullshit.
yeah. I don't know. I the whole thing
And
bugs me.
because the deal with Russia is NATO wasn't supposed to move past Germany when we made the deal with them way back when.
Yeah,
I think it would be the ad.
Chat. There we are. But yeah, no, I was thinking about it a lot this last week because like I normally don't. Normally I pay attention to like fun media like movies, TV shows, shit like that.
I threw you
But
a podcast that talked about it. Is that why?
that and the fact that I watched a couple videos from
Other people?
and they were reporting on it, and it made me think about it quite a bit. And then of course, the wife's talking to somebody that is over there right now, and
The funny part to me was always, well, okay, send a message. The funny part to me was always, well, it's Israel's fault. No, it's the Palestinians. How about you don't let the guy in the trench coat or in the Sith outfit that says, vote for who I tell you to vote to put in office, because if not, you're not going to get any of your money.
yeah,
So what do? They vote in the guy who's the terrorist in the office. Oh wait, didn't we kind of do the same thing with frickin' Saddam?
yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, the devil you know versus the devil you don't. Guess what? The war is not actually anything new. The only thing new is they're openly doing it, and with as much information as you can get off the internet. It's Palestinians bitching, but we're not actually attacking Palestinians. What we're trying to do is take out Hamas. The bitch is, well, the people are dying. People are dying on both sides because Hamas, I think I'm saying that right.
I've heard it says Hamas, so yeah.
Yeah. But
My
anywho,
personal brain went hummus
No.
or
But
hummus like a
anywho,
bread.
No, I know what you're saying, but my brain also says it's the you're bitching about the Israel people, the Judaic people, because that's what they're considered now,
Yeah.
taking control of their region, which was always promised to them. But yet you're like, well, we lived here first, yeah. And every time y'all bitch, y'all are given stuff, so that way y'all get what y'all want. But at the same time, you're also not getting what you want, because every time you're given what you want, you say, nope, that's good, fine, no, fuck you, we don't want it, and then you attack.
Yeah.
It's like, you see how what you literally blaming the Israelites, or I can't remember what somebody said the name earlier today. Literally, I went through a whole bunch of shit yesterday and today and the day before Tuesday. I was just trying to fill up on all the info from all the sides.
Yeah.
Oh. But
from what I understand, it's very nasty right now because there are people getting killed. There is more than that going
most
on.
Most of the Palestinians.
It's this big tug of war.
It's the
dick
thing
fighting
that they're
match.
bitching about what Israel's doing. But the funny part is, anytime Israel has given or signed the agreement to let the thing happen, for them to get food, water, whatever the situation, they give them back the land that they claim is theirs and da-da-da-da, a whole bunch of shit.
Yep.
What do they instantly do? Either they take it and then say, fuck you, and try to still attack Israel.
Yep.
Or literally don't take it and then like, we're not being treated fairly. We gave you your fair share and you said, fuck you, I'm not taking a handout.
Yeah.
You're literally like most, no offense to females and some males I've talked to, I am not taking a gift because as soon as I take a gift, that means I owe you something. That's not what it means. Somebody's giving it to you to be nice, you motherfucker.
I feel like there needs to be a bit more cohesion on either side.
But see,
Now
here's the
less people
issue.
get hurt.
That war's been going on for the last 20 to 30 years because I've been hearing about it my whole life. So, shut the fuck up. Let them shoot each other and fight out the war. And if this is the end times, guess what? They're not all gonna die. Jesus is gonna come back and go you motherfuckers in the next millennium. Kiss my ass and let it happen.
If anyone wants to get a bad TPAW for some reason for commenting on world events, that's not my problem.
I'm sorry,
and two,
kiss my ass.
And two, I just wish less people would get fucking hurt. Like when I read up that women are getting essayed and that children are getting killed. I have 4 of them, and he has 2 of them. I know people that have children. It's kind of a thing here in America. We like to protect women and children, and even though he has his own commentary on different sides of the debates on genders and stuff, still women and children are something we like to protect here in America.
Well, you always protect the women and children.
Right.
I'm just tired of the women trying to throw me under the bus because I have a penis and I'm supposedly white, even though technically I'm not white because I'm... Shit, for my genealogy, I should be 10 times tanner.
Right. And the thing is, though, is it's like, here in America, we like to protect people. We like to... That's how we used to stand for. I mean, lately I've been noticing there's this massive apathetic trend of nihilism where people just, are being more selfish and self-absorbed recently. And it's the opposite of how, I was
used to be.
Yeah,
well,
how everything used to be.
It's not that people are doing that. It's people have been babied. The generation after ours, the littler siblings of ours.
It's only because the previous generation was
babied more than
dicks.
we did.
It's only because the previous generations before that were a pile of dicks.
Well, no.
They were less
you
of a
have
pile
the
of
boomers,
dicks.
which raised the Gen X. The Gen X raised the millennials. Basically mining their generation. Because it's... Or your generation Z, or I don't know how the fuck that stupid shit works. But anywho, you're a millennial, and supposedly I'm a millennial, but I consider myself a Gen X, so it's a weird thing for me because they keep moving the fucking goalposts, assholes. I mean, you saw me on Cornelius' post. It's like, I always thought I was Gen X. Now I'm being told I'm a millennial. I don't know what the fuck I am. All I know is I'm an asshole. Or something to that extent.
Yeah. For me, I'm just apparently I'm either a millennial or a Gen Y, Gen Z, whatever. They keep changing shit. And I was like, at first I said I like pie. Because the fact that, I like humor.
Who doesn't like pie?
Yeah, right?
Don't leave me hanging?
Oh, shit, alright. I also ate pudding. I ate pudding in Golden Corral today, and they had pie. In fact, I didn't realize
I prefer their soft serve more than the pudding.
I thought it was cake, but then I realized cake is a lie, and it was actually pie, and that it was cherry pie.
Is, right?
Yeah.
Chocolate bread.
Yeah, and it's a lie.
It's just flavored bread.
It's a cute little lie that sits in your mouth and has sugar on it.
Uh-huh.
And I like pie.
I love pie.
And I ate pudding. It was great.
Pie. Pecan pie. That is my pie of choice. If I have to pick, pecan. Every time, all the time. Anything else, kiss my ass. I
before my display, by the way, with the waitress, you know what I did? The wife was like, wife was like, I think you just dinged, and I'm like, yeah, I think I hit the wall, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, she's all like, she looked out at the plate, she's like, you got this, you got this, you got this, and you got pudding, and I'm all like, pudding! And I had like a Dean Winchester moment, and I was like, I ate pot and pudding, this is great, and I got a few people that were around us to laugh and shit, and then I went to go to the display and made everyone feel like an asshole, so I double win.
Alright, next soundbite, you lunatic.
All the organs of the body were having a meeting, trying to decide who was the one in charge. The brain said, I should be in charge because I run all the body's systems, so without me, nothing would happen. The blood said, I should be in charge because I circulate oxygen all over, so without me, you'd waste away. The stomach said, I should be in charge because I process food and give all of you energy. Then the legs said, I should be in charge because I carry the body wherever it needs to go. Next was the eyes. I should be in charge because I allow the body to see where it goes. Finally, the rectum said, I should be in charge because I'm responsible for waste removal. All the other body parts laughed at the rectum and insulted him, so in a huff, he shut down tight. Within a few days, the brain had a terrible headache. The stomach was bloated, the legs got wobbly, the eyes got watery, and the blood was toxic. They all decided that the rectum should be the boss. What is the moral of the story? Even though the others do all the work, the asshole is usually in charge. All the organs of the body.
I mean, it's not wrong.
Shit.
No matter who does the work, usually the asshole's in charge.
You know what was funny is when I was in March of 2020, you know what I told you? In fact, I told you months later. What did I tell you that I almost died by? I almost died by my asshole.
Oh yeah, because yeah.
Because the intestinal bleeding in my stomach, and I was shitting out blood, and so I was like, I almost died by my ass.
Yeah.
Some people say die by the sword. I almost died by my ass.
Well, but see, I mean, I like that one because it's like
Again, the ass was
everybody's
triumphant.
saying why they should be the ones to do it. The asshole said, the rectum said, I'm waste management. Without me, the whole system goes down. They laugh at him. Okay, motherfuckers, you gonna find out real quick?
Yep. What's funny is I actually fucking when that was happening, I pulled a Gabriel Iglesias and I turned around and I was like, "You talking shit too?" And then as you know, and then to follow up with the punchline, I was like, the ass has spoken. It has talked shit and it's nearly killed me. The ass has nearly won.
Well, there's always an asshole behind the scenes. Either he's an asshole. Shut up. Either he's an asshole because he's
good.
mean, or he's considered an asshole because, quite literally, he's the douchebag that's so fucking honest. Everybody calls him an ass.
Yep.
I mean, if you're gonna call me an ass, I prefer to be called an ass because I'm honest.
And what is one of the most common phrases people say when they're pissed off at someone?
You're an asshole.
What a bunch of a-holes. Or what a bunch of assholes. Or whatever they want to say. Usually it involves an ass.
Yep. Yep. Which I think is hilarious because I like being called an asshole because now I use it as a oh. I live rent free in your head, motherfucker.
And then there was a song I recently heard where the friend that I've been hanging out with a lot lately, there was the band that came on to play before Avenged. There was a song they sang that was called I am an asshole.
Yes,
That
I
was-
remember you talking about that, and
It was
you
so funny.
smiled and laughed.
Yeah,
And
'cause
they're
it was
like,
a funny song.
Okay, it's a good song,
Yep.
but they didn't realize why you were laughing your ass off.
Well, he actually loved the song. He's like, this is my theme song, and he was like singing along with the crowd and shit, and talking about how much of an asshole he was.
And he doesn't realize you literally just admitted you're the biggest asshole in the room, right?
Again, the ass has spoken.
Right. Alright, next soundbite.
The quote that I've fallen in love with: the magic you are looking for is in the work you're avoiding. Fuck, dude. The magic you are looking for is in the work you're avoiding.
The work you're avoiding. The magic is in the work you're avoiding.
The magic you are looking for is in the work you're avoiding.
Yeah, no, that works.
Does that not like placate to when you make the comment, oh, I just want to make this next book, but I'm worried about the first one. But just throw out the first one and make the second one. If you got to re-edit it, that's your second edition.
Yeah, which is what
I
I've been
remember
doing.
that long conversation. We talked about that for a week at the gym.
Yep. And there's a book that I have been working on editing while I'm working on this current story.
Yep.
And it's before the next story that I've already started writing. So, you know,
You're doing three things at once.
it kind of just fits that video perfectly.
Yep.
And it's not even
Don't
the fact that I'm
avoid the
avoiding.
bullshit
Yeah.
to get to your goal.
Yep. Exactly.
As soon as you stop slowing down, because, oh, I don't want to. Well, if you don't, you're not going to get there.
Yeah. Do the work. Avoidance does not help.
Yep.
She wasn't ready.
Dominant narrative in America is white people are evil, white people suck, we should be ashamed of ourselves. And
I don't think we should be ashamed of ourselves. I think that we should take responsibility for the system that we created.
the best system in the world?
We do not have the best system.
What is a better system?
There are many European countries that are much better off than
I mean,
us.
like the European countries with a higher density of whites, like Northern Europe.
That's one way to phrase it, I guess.
You don't mean Turkey.
No.
You don't mean Eastern Europe with the communists. So the only time you can come up with a system that's better than America, it's a country that's more white than America. Emotional damage.
My comments on that are, if you participate in the opportunity and you get to help influence people around you by fighting said system of racism,
What you consider tyranny.
yes, then you can potentially cause a ripple effect of something outside of your control that will help change the way everyone thinks.
But here's a funny... I'm going to go off on a slight tangent with this one.
Okay?
Our country, the United States of America, is such a good country that everybody else, including its own people, its own citizens, can bitch about it. But yet, if you were in any other country, in most of the rest of the world, the outcome would not be good. You bitching about your own country. This is the one country where you can run your mouth like a stupid bitch about whatever's going on and whatever propaganda you've been fed or whatever you think the truth is. And they're like, yeah, okay, keep running your mouth. Shut up, the system works.
America, stupid bitch.
Oh, I thought it's funny because, I mean, what are the countries that I always bring up? Norway, Denmark, and, you know, all the northern Slavic countries, which are like super white countries.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They do it better. Who does it better? The whiter. So you're saying that you're talking up your ass and it's all bullshit.
Also, why is it that us in America consider ourselves so different from the people in the UK, Britain, all the other countries that have, you know, people that are of our pigmentation or varying pigmentations very similarly, and yet we're all the same.
Similarly,
Yet all the bloodlines are interconnected in some way. Like, America is, especially since a lot of us consider people that are from the South, for instance, as being stupid or slow.
no, we're
Which
just
is
rough
interesting.
little fuckers.
Right.
We'll beat your ass, fuck you in the ass, and then say, thanks, homie, and smack you on the ass and get in the truck and drive up.
I would argue that they let themselves get to that point.
But the thing is, it's the mentality. Not like
Right.
we'd actually do it, but it's the mentality of, oh, really? You want to go there? Are you sure you want to go there? Are you sure you can win?
Right. Because if I can empower myself to become the best version of myself, or to do the work, as I say a lot,
Yep.
or to get things moving, or to, you know, keep the ball rolling and get, you know, become an A student
Be
in
a
college, and,
badass in your own
yeah,
little bubble.
and be like an honor student and a dean's list person, among other things that I've done in my life, then everyone else can. Come on now. Like, I didn't
But
grow up
see,
in rich people houses. I grew up in
the
poverty.
funny part is, the people who like to bitch the most are usually the richest because they have nothing better to do because they have everything. The most privileged fuckers are usually the ones complaining the most. Shut the fuck up. You have the most shit. Let us who don't complain and try to fucking make it better.
But again, in the world that I work in right now, the job I have right now, the only time things change, or the only thing things like really start to, we hate complaints, right? We hate negativity. We hate, even though we contribute to it, even though we help perpetrate it, even though America is the champion of
part of the American condition.
Yeah, like it is, like to be an American is to be a complainer, to be a reject, to be an outcast. Me next, me first. In order
usually
to
me first, not next.
Yeah, in order to like do any of that stuff, like complaining has to happen. And while we are
not just that,
because like if you just simply say yes to everything and are just like we're so positive,
when you can bitch and cuss about everything the government does, that's not ruining and destroying you. Shut the fuck up and fix the problem and the system where it's broken. If you're not going to fix it where it's broken, just shut the fuck up. Stay out of our way so that way we can keep moving on and making this a better world.
The quiet middle people, the people that are the silent middle, the people that are so disenfranchised, so silent because they're afraid of saying anything. They're afraid.
They're going to get canceled. Yeah,
they're afraid of doing anything. Like me personally, I'm someone that's in the middle. I'm someone that like, I have some left views, I have some right views. I have just me views, but like, I would get canceled by either side. Like the right wings would be pissed at me for being too liberal. The left wings would cancel me because I hurt their feelings somehow.
And you're too conservative because you're married and have kids.
Right, and so therefore it's like, and the interesting thing about this is that if there are people in the middle were to speak up more and were to say something more,
and
then
scream like the lunatics,
then suddenly out of nowhere, everyone would be like, "Wait a minute, what just happened? Like, how I haven't heard that before." It's like, either you weren't paying attention or they weren't loud enough, because the people that are on the other sides, they're the ones who are the loudest ones. They're the ones who talk the most. They're the ones you hear the most of, which is why they're called normal.
But see, here's the funny part.
This
is why I like being the screamer, yeller, loudest fucker in the room. You know this.
Yeah.
You've seen it. I'm the loudest jackass in the room for one reason only. Because I want everybody to get their fair share, but at the same time, you can't bitch when I take something away from you because you're getting more than that person.
Well, what I'm trying to say here is...
One, or two,
yeah,
they're allowed to do exactly what you're allowed to get away with. Free drinks at the bar. And, well, a whole bunch of other shit, too. But, yeah, that's something we've discussed in another podcast also.
Yeah, but one thing I'm trying to argue for here is not necessarily to be the loudest, but to be the most understood. To be the, cohesion.
Well, that's what I got you for.
Right.
I'm the loud asshole everybody looks at, and I'm like, okay, have fun, and I walk away.
Yeah, communication. See, there's communicating, which you can do it wrong. You can communicate.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people scream communication, right? They go, communicate. Comprehension. Do you understand what each other is saying? Do you understand the language differences? Do you understand the teaching differences? Do you understand
their personal prejudice that they
the bias, the personal bias, and
what I consider personal
preferential
prejudice.
bias, all the stuff like that. Is there comprehension and is there understanding? Can you guys come to a middle ground and understanding on either side? And is there a way to move forward?
I really wish they could. But I have to scream because I'm right and you're wrong because you're, and then they give the male, white, straight, all these little things, and Pierce Morgan said a really good one. Oh, so because I'm white, I'm racist, because I'm male, I'm sexist, and because I'm straight, I'm a transphobe or homophobe.
Right, yeah.
You realize the stupidity that just came out of your mouth, lady. It was an interview. It popped up, I think it was earlier today or yesterday.
Yeah.
It's one of those little snippets where I just go, dumbass. Because they get called out for their stupidity. Yeah. I love it because you're an idiot. You just got proved you're an idiot because when he told you, repeated back to you exactly what you said to him. Well, I didn't mean you. Well, I'm white, male, straight. So I'm a sexist, racist, and trans or homophobe.
And also, can we try hard not to have the upper hand on things? Like, something I've been dealing with
Can we just
recently with
quit
people
labeling
is
each other?
labeling, bias, assumptions, having
Some
the
of
upper
it's
hand,
just funny though.
thinking that you're right or assuming that you're right just because you're prejudiced or because you have bias, and
Well,
not necessarily that you research
It-
anything,
it-
because you can
it's-
also
it's a-
research with bias.
well, hang on a sec. It's a bad habit we've come into, and some of the people in my generation, your generation,
Yeah.
which is, well, this is my viewpoint because of the way I've been treated. Because this, and this has happened to me or somebody I know.
Yeah.
Oh, has it actually happened to you or just people you know? And how
Yeah.
many people out of the group of all the people you know?
Exactly.
And then two, are you still in contact with these people who bitch and cry about their past but have never done anything to try to move past it, move forward, or report it to the police?
Right, but you have to be careful of that too, because like people will revert faster than they move forward.
Oh yeah. But my biggest thing is, why are you yelling at me about something you assume from your personal bias, and when I tell you that's your personal bias, apparently I'm the bad guy because I literally show you how you're yelling at me for nothing I have ever done to you just because you assume
Yeah.
that I did something. And assuming anything, which means you're not going by the actual facts, you're just going by your assumptions.
Preferential bias and
Yep.
assumptions.
Which is bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Like,
It's not facts, it's all bullshit.
I assume you are doing this because of what happened to me in the past, or because this is what you've done before. So I'm not going to ask you what you're doing now, or communicate with comprehension. I am also going to have personal bias of what I assume you are doing because of what my bias says. Instead, you break past all that and say, what are we doing, and how do we move forward on this?
Oh, it's funny when you ask the other person, why are we still doing this? What the fuck's your issue? Or, excuse me, gotta change the language. Why are you still yelling at me for something I didn't do, but you were told that I did?
You just said but
Yes.
again. Following up from the previous bit on this show, very beginning, the little
My
note.
ass!
Yeah, that's the ass commentary, the assentary.
I like that.
Oh yeah, no, I was.
Ladies know because
I
y'all
was-
been jumping on my TikTok. I got like an extra freaking 50 of this last week.
Oh,
Jesus
today I was
Christ.
talking about ass. I was walking around Walmart and grabbing her ass.
Your wife's ass.
Yeah, grabbing her ass and being like, and just like it was multiple times today.
Well, I mean, you're her husband. That's your God-given right.
Yeah.
I always found it funny, and this is actually one of my constant
Some people would
complaints
disagree.
about my wife. It's the don't touch me, don't coddle me, don't love me in public. Bitch, excuse me, what is your title? You are my wife. I am your husband.
Then you got the argument.
Those
with consent.
titles come with I'm allowed to grab your ass, hug you, or kiss you anywhere I fucking like.
Luckily, your sister is totally on board with that notion.
Well, of course, she learned it from me. Public PDA is not a bad thing. PDA actually enhances your relationship and the emotions that you have towards each other.
Yeah.
That, like, yeah, no, it's one of my biggest irritants.
Did you know
Anytime
people-
I've been or with and or around a woman, and she's like, "Don't, we're in public." I'm like,
I've gotten consent from her, assuming that I did not ask or did not get consent from her to touch her ass.
seriously, I'm like,
Because
do you
their
have
preferential
consent to do
bias argued against it, their
I'm
preferential
married-
assumption.
that? Nah, I didn't flip around. Are you married to her, motherfucker? No. Shut your mouth, cause I am. I got paperwork that says we are legally bound to each other no matter what the fuck your prejudice is. Shut up, get the fuck out of my business. But you're in public, which means I can do whatever the fuck, because guess what? I'm allowed to do anything and everything public, and if I want to, and you keep acting an ass, I'm gonna pull out my phone and take a video of you acting an ass and put it on YouTube for everybody to call you a worthless, evil piece of shit for yelling at me for showing my significant other.
Though I could see your wife arguing against it.
Well, I talk through your damn mouth.
That's a whole soapbox of itself.
Well, I'd probably punch her in the mouth and tell her to shut up and grab her ass twice as hard. I literally broke her out of that habit. Because it's like, I don't give a fuck what your opinion is. Guess what? I love you, and I'm going to show you I love you whenever and wherever I want.
Although whenever your sister...
Deal with it or get the fuck out.
Whenever your sister exhibits any type of thing like that or uncomfortability, I stray. I go, okay, shift.
No, I go in twice as hard. I just start grabbing the ass more and smacking it or kissing on the neck. Oh, I do. I go outrageous. Dude, she got so pissed she couldn't even yell at me. She was so pissed, and then I took her home and I banged the shit out of her. And she was like, and then I'm like, you happy now, dumbass? And then when I said I had a cigarette, told her fuck off.
Did she actually say yes though? Eventually?
She was satisfied with the sex. She wasn't satisfied with because she came out to have a cigarette. But that's not the point. I fucked the shit if you enjoyed it, right? Yes. But I'm still pissed because I showed you affection in public. Guess what? That's what married people do.
So why is she so against it though? If she
Because
enjoyed it,
her
if she enjoyed the
fucking
sex, why would she
parents-
say no?
Because of her stupid fucking father and her stupid fucking mother and their hindrance and bullshit, and they got divorced.
But Joe is totally for it. I know
Joe
that.
is the most open and I'm going to show you affection
I know.
PDA to the extreme. But because of her stupidity and thinking if I show PDA, then there'll not be enough at home, I shouldn't do it in public, it's private. I'm sorry, I love you in public and private, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but
And come
that's
enjoy
my
my
confusion.
company. That's my argument. That's always been my argument. dude.
Because I remember when I was helping his other daughter move and stuff, Joe was talking so much smack on your wife. And talking so much smack about disappointment in the fact of how she's become. And he was
who
talking...
she's turned into.
Right,
Yep.
and he was talking about how, you know, she's no longer the daughter he remembered raising. And that she's doing things that he would have gone against. Including how she is towards you, for instance.
Yep. Do you know why?
Because of her now current girlfriend person that she's with?
Nope.
That's what you said before. Was that she was in
That's why he hates the situation.
Oh.
The real reason is he's always bitched and complained at her, like I do, about shut up, PDA is showing you give a shit about somebody, you care about somebody, and if they tell you I love you a million times in one day, whether you say it back or not, that tells you that they love you more than they love you. They love you more than you love them, so don't bitch and complain because they want to show you their affection repeatedly. My bitch, she got brainwashed that I show her so much affection because I need her to show affection to me because I need the reinforcement. I don't need the reinforcement. I love you. Shut the fuck up with your stupid bias and your fucking feminist, lesbian, Satanist, Luciferian stop breeding and bring the world to shame and destruction because there'll be nobody to take over the jobs when we're all dead, so there will be nobody to work and it will all be ran by the machines. And hey, welcome to the Matrix. You are just a battery. Shut the fuck up and plug in you in, bitch.
You went so damn deep with that. The initial part, I was like, that reminds me of my ex-girlfriend. The whole refusing to have the affection and refusing to have a certain amount of it. Like, I literally, like, walked up to Gostel and from behind earlier and, like, was giving her all kisses on the neck and he was all affectionate.
What you don't realize
She's all like, never, it's never too much.
is I've been, well, it's been thrown at me because of the way I talk and how, you know, I'm always saying certain things around you.
Yep.
And the little demons in the phone hear it and they like, ooh, I'm going to give you information on it. I've literally found out more about people calling themselves Satanists that don't actually worship Lucifer or Samael. Of course, I prefer calling him Samael because Lucifer's kind of a kick to the nuts name because it's you know, the whole horns and
Which
that
goes into
line.
the whole talk that I talked about, where how all these gods have all these different names,
Right?
and these angels have different names.
And technically, it's all the same fuckers. But anyway, that's a whole different argument for a different day. Oh wait, we've already done that one.
Yep.
But anywho, it's the thing of the people who were overpopulated are the dumbest fuckers in the world, because there's so much of the world that we haven't touched.
Yeah.
And if we put everybody in one country and built a tower a million, or what is it, like, yeah, 1 million floors up.
Yeah.
Actually, it wouldn't have to be a million, it's like 1,000 floors up. In America, just all of the United States of America, you could literally have enough apartments, restaurants, and everything else, including parks with actual trees and flowers and real grass, growing every so far and every da-da-da-da-da on every level.
Yeah.
And every human on this planet could be put in that miles in the middle of Africa. We can literally put every human on Earth in it.
Yeah.
So why don't we just take all America, since America wants to be everybody's saviors, and kick them in the nuts and say, fuck you, do it our way or don't do it at all. That's where the big bull.
Yeah. We are a big boy. Let's face it.
No,
all
I
of
admit
these
it.
countries
That's always
are
been
big
the
bullies.
American thing.
Yeah, that's about all the countries
I'm
are
the
big
biggest
bullies.
bully. Shut your fucking mouth. Do shit my way. I'm gonna come kick you in the nuts. That's why we're in everybody else's war and in everybody else's bullshit. But yet, apparently, we're $2 trillion in debt. We're not $2 trillion in debt, because technically they owe us, all the rest of the countries, as much as we owe them. So go fuck yourselves. Stop trading in actual money. Stop trading in all this shit, because it's all lies and the fucking. How much you can get for an ounce of gold is not what it fucking was 100 years ago, or what the equivalent of nowadays money should be. It's not backed by gold. It's all bullshit. It's all lies. Fuck off. Tell the truth, and let's get fucking past this bullshit and just be honest.
My thought on that is that
Because they're trying to
a
make
lot
us
of
die
the
anyways.
a lot of the various many countries in our world, a lot of them are bullies to each other, and we just happen to be the popular bully.
No, see, we're the propagandized
Popular bully.
Christian happy bully. We want to save you all.
Right, with the religion or
Well, religion was the original. Now with the whole trans and gay, lesbian, and all that shit, they don't want to breed, but yet they want to prove they can be good parents and have kids. So then fucking breed.
whatever. Yeah.
And if it repulses you that much to breed, then you don't need to fucking be raising children to not breed.
For all we know, the newer generations are going to be the ones that crossbreed everybody together, and then suddenly nobody's going to be white or nobody's going to be black or
Well, that's what
whatever.
I said. We'll
Because it's
just
all going to be multicolored.
build a astronomically stupid, giant fucking 20-star hotel that everybody lives in for free on the American soil, and let nature take over the rest of the world, and let's see how good it gets in 10 years, motherfuckers. Remember, Timothy Potter for president, 2032.
Why 2032? That's like 10 years from now.
Or would it be 2028? Yeah, 2028. We'll go for
2028 is technically 5 years, or like 4.8 years from now.
that.
Because we
And,
got about 2 years, 2 months from the end of the year, almost.
and you don't think I can do it?
I didn't say that. I mean, how much shit has changed in the last 4 years?
You got 5 years to get your shit in line, so that way, when I move out of this fucking state, so that way I can be a candidate and hearing the same shit, I can drag you along as
Are you
vice
trying to
president.
say that we should move to Nebraska?
I'm not moving to Nebraska. I'm moving to Oklahoma.
Oklahoma?
Okay.
You know, your sister was talking about moving to Washington, out of all places.
Fuck Washington. No, because that's dumb bitch and fucking cunts. Fucking like, well, favorite place in the world. You want to live in fake England where it rains every day.
Hey,
Then
Washington
fucking move to
doesn't
England,
sound.
motherfucker. Get
Hey,
the
it
hell out of my
doesn't
country.
sound terrible to go to Washington. Washington.
I don't want to deal with rain every day, man. Take me to Oklahoma. I'll deal with tornadoes. Those fuckers ain't that hard. Hey, look. Oh, there went Bob's house. I dealt with that shit as a teenager, dude. Tornadoes don't bother me. Come, take out the whole neighborhood. Rip my house off the fucking goddamn hinges. Guess what? I'm gonna sit there and go, ooh.
I don't think your
It's not
sister
gonna
wants
kill
to go
me.
back there.
Well, of course she doesn't. But the thing is, if she went back there, she'd have to harden her ass back up, and she knows it. So does everybody else. The only reason I want to go there and take my kids, I'm gonna turn them into hard asses.
With tornadoes.
No, just with the fucking idiots in Oklahoma who are 10 times more brutal than the bitches here in Utah.
Yeah, I remember watching a show that had like Oklahoma in it. It seemed like way more hardcore.
Oh, dude,
some
hardcore is
areas.
understandable. Okay, Oklahoma to where we are now is the equivalent. Well, okay, the best way to say it is the level of brutality and assholeness of Ogden and Salt Lake combined times 10 is Oklahoma.
So some parts of California, especially Oakland.
but it's
Especially
remember,
Oakland.
it's southern, so it's worse. You're
I
a
don't know about
complete
that one.
asshole, while at the same time, southern politeness.
I don't know.
I'll
about
call
that.
you an asshole to your face, tell you you're a worthless piece of shit, but at the same time, I invite you over to the fucking barbecue in my backyard next week.
It all kind of blends together for me, honestly. Whether you're southern or western or whatever, if you're an a-hole, you're still an a-hole.
Uh-huh.
There's varying
But
degrees
to
of
the
a-hole.
a-hole that I'll invite over because we're all friendly to each other, no matter how big a douchebag you are.
Right.
We're neighborly. To the extent it would, no offense, shame some of these idiots in Utah on how neighborly some of the idiots in Oklahoma are.
You clearly never lived in San Diego, California.
Fuck San Diego and fuck California, I don't like it.
Still, you still clearly never lived there.
No, I don't even remember the summer I went out there with Nanny and Peepaw to go visit his family before his dad died.
Because you just described that in some areas.
Well, I mean, you have douchebags everywhere.
Yes.
It's just how hard are they? Do they carry guns, knives, or fists? Or all three? Usually all three in Oklahoma.
Yeah. I say yeah because they add all of the above. A lot of people like to think or like to believe, especially if they don't live somewhere, that a place is a certain way. But again, that comes back to our bias talking about. Our bias topic.
Well, my only bias is from Ghost TL because she's like, these little bitches are picking on me in middle school, junior high, the local junior high, like the fucking
So hard ass, you knew all your neighbors.
I knew all my neighbors in Virginia.
It
Most
was
of them were.
hard to
No,
not
most
know
of
your
them were
neighbors.
actually good neighbors.
Yeah, it was hard to
Little
not know your
assholes
neighbors.
around the block that were my age, older, or slightly younger is the ones I had to worry about, and I usually tried to avoid. 'Cause
Even to this
I
day,
didn't want to get into fights.
reclusive neighbors still throw me off sometimes to this day because my inner California comes out.
I don't like people who don't like to talk to me or like, oh, hi neighbor. I try to be extra like, hey neighbor, how's your day going? You
Yeah.
know, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's just, I lived near, the last part of my teen years I lived near IB, so it's just like,
Well,
used
that
to the
kinda makes more
surfers,
sense, yeah.
near the surfers and the, the nicer people, but like in some parts of California it is the assholes.
No, we can't blame the Mexicans, they were there first.
Number 20. When you find a brother in someone who is not blood, keep him. Rule number 20. When you find a brother in someone who is not blood, keep him.
Yeah, that's something that's, that,
And I threw that one just at you. Cause
yeah, because it's like, so there's a lot of examples.
Of that?
Yeah. that I've personally experienced. Because, like, yeah, there's my blood brother Andrew, and yeah, there's blood brother Nico, but, like, at the end of the day,
bros.
there's a lot of people in my life that I've met
Where's
that
that
are
going?
basically bros who are
That
not
way.
blood, and they, in some areas, have stuck around more.
Right?
It's just
Sorry,
this
it was getting
thing.
under my
It's
foot.
this thing where blood siblings will stick around.
Blood of
Yeah.
blood is stronger than water, but it's the blood of the covenant is stronger than the water of the womb.
Right.
Which is the family you pick, not the family you were given.
Right, and I've seen a lot of examples where it's kind of like a 50-50 split depending what your experiences are.
Well, also depends on how you and your siblings and or family were raised.
Yeah,
So,
that's
I mean,
true.
because if you always think of family as close, but yet you have people who are closer than family, it's because you picked them.
Yeah, my dad's side of the family is a prime example of that whole phrase.
talked about that a few times.
Yeah. I still doubt. I'm like going, are we sure we're blood related? Because they don't act like it. My coworkers are closer to me often than my own blood family, which is awkward and
Well,
weird.
it's like you made a comment, I think it was earlier this week or last week, about throwing the soundbite into the family chat to see what they'd say or who snapped first.
Probably my Aunt Tammy.
Yeah, and we talked about it, and you made a big joke about it, like showing your fucking missionary side,
Yeah.
and you made a big joke out of it. And I just laughed because we've discussed this, because it's like Dad or a few other people you've met in the church that we've discussed how they do it the wrong way about it's not even indoctrinating it. It's
It's just them.
proselytizing.
Yeah, it's just them showing that part of themselves that they learned to be and
not
experience.
actually teaching you or showing you anything about the actual truth that they have learned and or know from being in the church. It's the the propagandized shit that's always most people consider the church, which, like I said, is the Mormon and the LDS side.
Yep.
Because they don't actually know a fuck thing about the church.
Yeah. They think they do.
Well, of course they think they do. Every idiot thinks he knows everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like me. What do I know? I know what I know. Do I know everything? No. Am I pretty damn close? I think so.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's also my viewpoint through what I've lived in life on and how I've become so goddamn neutral on 90% of everything. It's just like, I'm good.
That's where you manage your bias.
Usually. Not always. I have triggers and I will admit it. Ah, fuck that motherfucker. That's a better. And you see me.
Yep.
You literally pull up some dumbass or some dipshit who literally, as soon as I said, what did I do to piss you off and try to fix the situation? Fuck you, another. You are on the fuck you list. Anybody brings up your name, I'm going to literally light you on fire.
Yep.
You've seen that one.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
Best conversation technique ever. Yes and is when no matter what somebody says to you, even if it's negative, someone says to you, look, your product is too expensive. Yeah, and the reason why that is because we put more into L&D. Anytime you use yes and in a negative situation, it steers the conversation in a positive direction. Most people say yes but. And when you say yes but, you negate their thought. When you say yes and, you're building on their thoughts. Always in a positive direction, no matter what you say to me. Doesn't matter how negative it is. Ben, we decided not to go with you. Yes, and I'd love to know why.
Send me
Always
that.
positive. Otherwise, people go, yeah, but what happened? Now you seem less. It's a very powerful language model. Best conversation technique ever. Yes, and is when no matter what somebody says to you, even if it's negative,
Yeah,
someone
this is
says
what
to
I
you,
was talking about.
look, your product is too expensive. Yeah, and the reason why that is
I love it.
because we put more into
I love
L&D.
that shit.
Anytime you use yes and
I remember Kirk Duncan mentioning
this
it.
steers the conversation in a positive direction. Most people say yes but. And when you say yes but, you negate their thought. When you say yes and, you're building on their thoughts. Always in a positive direction, no matter what you say to me. Doesn't matter how negative it is. Ben, we decided not to go with you. Yes, and I'd love to know why. Always positive. Otherwise, people go, yeah, but what happened? Now you seem less. It's a very powerful language model. Ben,
Yeah.
That's
like,
what I was talking about
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah, I know.
It's the and
Uh-huh.
to go up to build on.
I notice
instead
that
of
I do that.
but-
I notice I do that a lot though.
Yeah.
I say and all the time.
Yeah, you add. I do it too. I mean, we were talking about earlier, but it's the always adding the and. It's like, you said like 20 ands.
Uh-huh.
But have you gotten my positivity out of it? Yeah, I feel happier, but I don't know why.
What's funny is I use and a lot. the person I
Every
was
once in a while,
referencing
I'll
to,
use but.
person I was referencing to, uses but a lot
Uh-huh.
and argues against.
And I try to avoid using that. I mean, you've seen it with all my conversations. If I say but, I backtrack and then
They're
I
heavily
repeat.
defensive, heavily confrontational,
Yep.
heavily victimized, and
And
always
they
negative.
don't know how to see the positive, which is their issue, not yours. Yep.
And they add to the boiling pot of their own vexation and destruction.
It's the crabs in the boiling pot. Even though there are more crabs in the... actually, it's not pot, it's bucket. Because there's enough crabs in the buckets to climb out. But because they're afraid they're going to not be able to get out. Once the one guy gets out, they always drag the one guy almost out back in.
Right.
Yep. That's exactly what the fuck it is. It's all the same.
You notice how like I hardly ever use the word but?
Uh-huh.
I just realized that.
Uh-huh.
I was reflecting
Every
on my
once in a
word
while,
choice. And
I
like
do it, but... Yeah, see?
like I was reflecting
And
on my
I
word
try not
choice.
to.
And I was like going, wait a minute. How many times do I write but in a book? Hardly ever. Unless it's dialogue where characters are like disagreeing with each other or debating. And it's
Well,
and then
that's your
suddenly
opinion, but
you
my
realize the
opinion's
tone is
this.
negative.
Yeah.
But like there we go, but
Well, no, I was using that as an example.
right. And with the storytelling, you can use either word to help balance out the tone of the story. And a lot of times I'll sit there and I'll write with my buddy who's a writer, and then my other buddy who's a writer and an author, and I'll sit there and say and it always keeps it in kind of like that positive flow and dynamic.
If
I
you
never thought of
add
that.
an and,
I never thought of that.
it will always move forward because you're always building on top.
Right. That's exactly what I do. I am always
Because-
building.
Yeah, it's like you were saying, like Kirk Duncan said, when you put but after what you say, it literally discounts what you said before.
Right.
And like he was saying, and I love you, and you're a good brother-in-law, and this, and, you know, just keep adding the pluses.
Yeah, I just realized that like a lot of my language is extremely positive.
Yes. It's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah. Like I've changed it so much over the years.
Extremely in the last 3 to 4 years.
Right. And I've noticed that like my intonations, the way I talk, and that's part of why I run into so many confrontations with this person.
Yep.
Because they are so negative about everything. They're always trying to argue against me.
Here's the funny part. They're not the only one. You have 2 of them. That's the issue. One feeds the other without even knowing it because it ain't got the balls to come say anything positive to try to influence the other one in the proper direction. So it's literally the pot of the crabs climbing out, the bucket.
Huh.
One's always pulling the other one down, whether they realize it or not, because they are adding and feeding the fuel to the fire of the dark and evil and negative emotions.
Right. And every time that for instance, person that lives here with us, when it's in the downstairs area,
The basement dweller.
they like using the word but.
Yep.
They don't like using the word and.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of times whenever we tell him something or we're explaining something to him,
Or try to give the positive outlook on how he could fix what he's
one of
currently
the
doing.
first things he says always is,
Yeah, but.
yeah, but.
Yep.
That's part of his phrasing.
That's literally what the...
That's like literally the
Next
first
time
2
he
words.
does that, yeah, but... Hang on, hold that thought.
We're gonna literally like this will be the podcast episode where people are gonna watch it and be like, "Holy fuck balls! I didn't realize that's how many times I say that word."
Right? I know I say but, and I try to stop it. I mean,
Right.
literally, you said but, and I'm like, I know. Rewind, rephrase.
And not once in that entire whole string of dialogue that I just gave, until it was the example, did I use the word.
Exactly.
Because it's hardly ever in my dialogue.
And that's why it's a good example, because you only used it as an example. Shut up, stupid.
I saw what you did there. I'm not stupid, because I was slow. I was not slow in the uptake.
Nope. You usually aren't. That's kind of why I like talking to you. It's I can throw it all out there, and you usually pick it up. Maybe not instantly, but it is a good thing when you pick it up, because when I come back with it, oh yeah, and then you add on, and then I go, and this, and like at the pool the other day.
Yep.
Literally, I let you talk for a good, what was it, 20 minutes, half an hour?
Without interrupting. Yep.
Yeah, and then I just literally just went even deeper. I literally just added more to what I told you previously and went deeper.
Yes.
Once you got to the point where I knew I could jump into the conversation, I just went.
I like the guy in the video too, because you could tell that he's extremely passionate about changing language in a more positive direction.
I think it's more than language, but
I'm
he's
making
trying
that my
to teach
Facebook story.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm saving the video to my phone and I'm going to start sharing it to people. That's my conquest. Like that's part of my conquest right now. Part of my conquest is positivity, peace, prosperity.
You like sharing everything with everybody.
Yes.
And you talk about it more than I do.
Yeah, I do.
So what do? Here. Alright,
Yep.
I'll go throw it at all the people, see if you can make them happy.
Because I've dealt with so much trauma over the years, and it's become such a toxic waste of blanket over me.
Waste of time, waste of
Yeah,
space.
and like, I was talking to like Dad years and years ago, and he was all like, I wish you could do this, and I wish this, and I wish this, like a bunch of wishing.
Don't wish, I'm going to.
Right.
Then you make the list.
He loves to say, I wish,
which means
and
it'll
then
never happen.
sentence. And I'll like listen to what he's saying, and a lot of it's out of my control. A lot of it's stuff that's like, I'm like going, okay, I can't fix that myself. And then like when it's about me, I'm like, wait a minute, I can do that. Like I have that power. And so, like I've spent the last few years asking myself, I'm like, where do I want to be with myself? Like not necessarily with relatives who are hardly ever around, not necessarily with parents who either are dead now and unfortunately can't be here, or other parents who only show up for a half hour every so often, every blue moon when they feel like giving me stuff in their house.
Or just don't show up at all.
Yeah, and then just don't want to hang out at all. They get awkward and whatever. And like I've tried my hardest to put myself in such a positive sphere and like a positive mentality to try to lead towards a conquest of finding peace. That like it put me away on a different wavelength than a lot of people in my life.
And that's why they don't come around no more, because they're the negative and you're too damn positive for them.
And it caused me to conflict with another person.
A couple people.
Yeah.
I mean, me and you've talked about it. It's been what, like 2 or 3 people in the last 4 years?
Yep.
It's like, well, somebody said this, okay, and da-da-da-da-da-da, and you're like, oh. And then you literally just started taking my criticisms or constructive
More
add-ons.
constructive. Yeah, more constructive with some shit talk.
Well, I mean, it's constructive criticism for a reason.
Right.
But
And
I acknowledge that I might be criticizing you, but if you don't listen to the criticism, you just listen to the add-on, the constructive part, you benefit. That's why I've tried to, and you've seen me struggle with it, but I think I'm doing a lot better than I used to. I am a lot better with the constructive more than the criticism part now.
Yeah, because I also check your ass.
Well, I mean, we have to check each other, because if we don't check each other, then we're shitty brothers.
Yep, that is true.
Would you fucking...
On today's episode of Feminists Don't Want Equality, and I'm fucking sick of it. Young Butler from the show Real Housewives has filed a lawsuit accusing Federa Parks and Brandon Gladwell
source of my vexation. And I say that as someone who, I am so empathetic that it can get crushing when I'm around others or around people here, or even if it's on the internet. Like, if you're putting out energy on the internet and you don't believe this, like, you're across the, like, say you're in Sweden and I'm in the States and you're putting out energy without intending it or without knowing it, I am literally feeling that energy, whether you know it or not, whether I know it or not, and it's causing vexation. And so with a lot of these people on the internet putting all this energy out and putting all this stuff out, they don't realize that us men are literally trained from childhood and birth that we cannot acknowledge our emotions. If we do, we are somehow considered weak, or we're somehow considered less than. Or,
you're a beta.
Right, and if we are feminine, which I am equal feminine masculine.
Right.
But if you're feminine, you're somehow less than, or somehow weak, or whatever. And a lot of the women out there have put out the message and the energy without intending it or not. Doesn't matter. It still happened. They didn't check themselves with their bias or anything else. That us men receive the message that we are somehow less than if we're not grinding our face to the metal and working our job. And no matter what we do, whether we're working our job, whether we're helping take care of the kids, whether we're doing anything in our life, or even just trying to be ourselves, we are somehow still less than. And whether or not we support other women and empower other women, we're somehow called creepy. Whether or not we compliment women, we're somehow called players or whatever bias you want to have.
We're the bad guys because we're nice, but yeah, when we're not nice, we're fucking assholes. And why doesn't anybody compliment me? Because you literally called the cops on me, you stupid bitch.
Right. The wife literally tried to compliment me at dinner tonight, and I didn't believe her. You know why? Because it's hard to believe her. It's hard to believe people. Because us men are programmed not to. Us men are programmed
if somebody compliments you, they're actually putting you down. Look for the fucking backhand.
Right, exactly. Because that's what we're used to. I grew up
what we're taught.
I grew up with a very rough childhood. My dad was gone half the year in the military, and I was talking to the wife about it earlier today, and the fact that it's a reflex that when I get close to crying, or when I get close to feeling any emotion, like crying, I have to literally push myself to be okay with crying, to feel it is okay, and allow myself to get there. Otherwise, it turns to anger. Because of the fact that I was trained that if I am sad, or if I cry, I am somehow weak, or I am somehow less than. And so therefore, I say, I'm not a fucking little bitch. And then so I instantly just go anger. And that's part of why I go to the gym, is to let go of the negativity, shed all the baggage that I gain every day at my job, to gain every day in general. And us men are not appreciated enough. We really aren't.
Well, let's see, what was it? Another soundbite, a little thing I like was, ladies, how do you show your man you give a shit? Why don't you buy him flowers?
That would be
We never get flowers.
Yeah. Like, I never get flowers. I don't get much. We
don't get roses. We don't get anything.
Literally, when Father's Day comes up, you know what I think?
Oh, yeah, another tired pair of socks.
Right. Like, something that I don't... Something that I'm, like, going, what do I do with this? Like, I guess I'll put it on my feet or something.
See, that's the funny part. Guys don't
never
ever
what I
get
want.
anything that would be the equivalent of us receiving flowers like chicks. But it's like, well, why don't you buy me a rose for Father's Day?
Right. I literally think...
That's it.
I think to myself...
Me dinner.
Yeah, I literally think to myself, is this a projection gift? Or is this a... I'm expected to be happy because you want me to be happy? And is this an actual holiday for me? Or is it a holiday for your own personal bias and ego?
The issue is because fathers are looked as less than in the parental hierarchy. The issue isn't that we don't receive anything but ties and socks. The issue is that has become the staple gift for fathers on Father's Day because you don't need anything because you work your ass off and you have everything you need.
I am so wrapped up in making sure I get to work on time, making sure I take care of the kids with the wife, making sure I hit all the thousand lists of items throughout the day. But by the time a holiday shows up, I go, oh shit, how much does this cost? And oh shit, what do I have to do to take care of it? Because it's not a...
Can I afford it?
Yeah, because it's not about my feelings, about how I feel okay with it, because nobody ever asks about that. Nobody cares. It's about whether or not I can take care of it. It's about whether or not I am able to do something about it, and whether or not people around me are happy, not whether I am happy.
Which is the shitty life of being a masculine man who's also, let's see, mentally aware enough to be comfortable in his family.
Yep, and the wife has always been big on being like, well, I want you to be happy too. And I'm like, am I allowed? Is that allowed? Is that against the rules that I'm supposed to, like, because I'm a man, I'm not supposed to be happy, I'm supposed to just provide and take care of everybody? Because that's what my dad was. That's what how my dad was. How I watched him growing up.
We're programmed to be stoic, don't show emotion, and then what's the first thing most women bitch? Why don't you show emotion? Why don't you jump up and down? Why aren't you happy? It's Christmas. It's your birthday.
And the second you show anger, they go, "Oh my God, you're angry." It's like
you said, show my emotions, you stupid fuck.
It's like that's the one emotion I'm comfortable with showing because that's the one emotion I usually am in.
Or
because of how stressed I am.
Self-aware of being angry.
Because of how stressed I am.
It's the only emotion I can easily tap into because of the clusterfuck I've been taught and raised in.
And yet, like, the one time of day where I really am truly me is when I'm lifting weights. And when I'm able to just let go of the negativity.
No. Rephrase that. When you're lifting weights and spending time with your children.
That is true. When I'm with my kids and when I'm lifting weights, those are the two major times of the day where I feel like
yourself.
Me. Where there's not as much expectation being projected onto me.
Hey, at least you get to take tonight.
Yes.
And have the anniversary with the wife.
Yes. And I also get to do this podcast with you and talk about this stuff. Which means now the world knows that us men are fucked up.
Welcome to 2023. You fuckers are 5 centuries behind. Next!
They're just a child and they're exploring their imagination.
Says they're a cat.
Yes, but Piers, they're 12.
And is actually interfering with the lessons by talking in cat language, including meowing. And if people don't go along with this, refusing to cooperate, that is not just having a bit of fun being a cat. That is actually assuming the identity of an animal that this person is not. And then insisting everybody else conform to it. That is madness. This is limitless self-identity gone bonkers. When you have in women's sport 6'4" biological males destroying biological females at the elite sport level in swimming pools, on racetracks, in other sports, that's when it becomes a full frontal assault on women's rights to fairness and equality. When you include them going into dressing rooms and so on and mixing with biological females, then there's a safety issue. Kids are watching all this stuff, as kids do. They want a piece of the action.
I fully agree with him.
I kind of got lost. Because he talks so fast.
You want me to play it again?
Sure.
Sorry, that's how fast I talk.
Exploring their imagination.
Says they're a cat.
Yes, but Piers, they're 12.
And is actually interfering with the lessons by talking in cat language, including meowing. And if people don't go along with this, refusing to cooperate, that is not just having a bit of fun being a cat. That is actually assuming the identity of an animal that this person is not. And then insisting everybody else conform to it. That is madness. This is limitless self-identity gone bonkers. When you have in women's sport 6'4" biological males destroying biological females at the elite sport level in swimming pools, on racetracks, in other sports, that's when it becomes a full frontal assault on women's rights to fairness and equality. When you include them going into dressing rooms and so on and mixing with biological females, then there's a safety issue. Kids are watching all this stuff, as kids do. They want a piece of
there is that my kids don't give a fuck about gender.
Well, no, but I understand his argument.
I mean, I can from a certain point of view, maybe.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I understand where he's coming from, but it's more of the thing with the situation that was there in that clip. She's arguing, let the kid be a kid and pretend, but he's not pretending. He's literally being the class ass, and on purposely interrupting because everybody's come to this woke agenda to literally be the dumbest fuck in the room and pretend to be the biggest noise-making asshole because you want all the attention. How the fuck are you in the first and second grade needing to be an attention? Or how many older brothers or younger siblings do you have?
Well, if he's the first or second grade, he's a child.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But it's if you want to pretend at home for play, that's fine. Do not bring that to school. School is to go to learn how to read, write, and do the basic bullshit.
I don't know, I don't agree with that. I feel like if you're a child, you should be allowed to play pretend wherever you're at. Whether you're at recess, I mean, sure, when you're in the classroom, there's got to be a balance of play pretend and learn. But part of learning is pretend.
That was his complaint because the kid, for what they were talking about, was literally on purpose disrupting the class to go meow meow or do a cat-like voice and do a pretend cat.
Personally, I think Piers, in that respect, should remove his stick firmly shoved up his ass and realize that this is a child who wants to meow.
But hold up, that was only the first one. The second part was talking about the 6-foot-tall dude who literally shut butt naked in a locker room in front of a whole bunch of women going to a swim meet that they'd been working for their whole life. And he technically didn't win. Him and the other girl who started bitching and coming out and screaming about it literally got a tie, but because he's saying he's trans, even though he's got a fully, I think she said, I mean, he's 6 foot tall, so it's not exactly a small wanker just flopping around in the women's locker room.
So I'm surprised none of the women just kicked him in the balls. Fully grown ass man.
Well, what she said is a lot of them went and hid.
They hid?
Yeah, because it's a male in the women's locker room.
I'm surprised none of them.
And she went to talk to one of the officials. Oh no, we figured out a loophole. It's a sex-neutral bathroom. Anybody can go into the locker room.
I can see quite a few of the women hiding, maybe, because that's their first instinct, is to just shrink. But I can see a couple of them just being like, you know what? Right in the balls. I went to high school with quite a few women like that.
No, I understand that, but it's the woke agenda, and what she's also said, which was part of his bitch, about if we just let everybody do this all the time, it's literally chaos.
Yeah.
Which means there's no control. Everybody's going to just be stupid and do whatever the fuck they want instead of actually trying to be a decent human being and say, well, I don't have to be man or woman, or I don't have to be human. I can be, an elf, a dwarf. It just becomes so outrageously,
Sometimes I agree with
extreme.
Piers, and sometimes I think he's full of shit. Or at least I think they're shut.
I think he's an angry old man because
yeah,
he's literally
definitely.
being yelled at by feminists and fags.
Not to mention he really debates terribly.
Well, it's not he debates terribly. He's just
I watched him ask
arguing the same exact points repeatedly. It's like, we talked about this last week. Why are we going over this again, you motherfucker?
I watched him. I laughed at the interview that you showed me. I think it was one of
the
where like he literally just asked the same stupid question over and over again.
Because they wouldn't answer it.
But I saw him as a form of
pissed.
aggressive harassment, and I'm like,
okay,
so you're gonna ask the same question a million times, and she's trying to talk to you. You could have swerved that a bit.
Pause. On that note,
just saying.
If you're interviewing somebody, and the interview is to find out facts, you ask them the facts, and they're doing a workaround to not ever talk about what the actual answer is that they actually believe, then they're a lying piece of shit, and I'm going to get pissed at you because you're not fucking answering the question, you're walking around it.
Yeah, but then he's not following the 48 laws of power you've talked about so much. is not learning how to re-swerve the conversation to where she is getting back to where she needs to be in the conversation, where you want her to be.
He does. Because
He's kind of an asshole.
Well, no, see, that's the shorts. They show him an asshole to get the views.
Right.
I just laugh at it because they're both idiots acting stupid.
Yeah.
Because I find it hilarious.
He was an antagonistic dick.
Well, I mean, she's also an entitled bitch, but, I mean...
Doesn't two wrong, as you said, two wrongs don't make a right.
No, I agree with it. I'm just saying, this is TV.
Mm-hmm. It was like entertaining for the 5 seconds we saw it.
Bringing just pearly things on.
It was a fool of the court.
To debate with that same bitch.
Yeah, it was a fool of the court attacking another fool.
Yeah, but it's the the one I like most about that he's done.
Yeah, I've liked some stuff he's done.
With the gay guy.
Yeah.
And well, if there's all these genders and all this shit, and I can do whatever I want, I'm a two-spirited penguin. Yeah. Well, you can't fucking do that. You just literally told him he could because you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah,
was their exact words.
Yeah.
So me, I laughed because you literally opened the door and said, let people do whatever they want. And he says, this is what I am, or this is how I see myself. And they literally get offended because he's using their own words against them. And then they just start bitching and cussing, you can't do that, you're not gay, you're not, you know, have a mental issue, so
right.
I'm not going to call you that.
Yeah.
So, if I
things
say it because I'm a straight white male, I'm completely full of shit, because you say it because you're a straight fag male, you're allowed and I'm not.
The thing I saw there in one of those videos is that he was calling out that point about the whole racism and gender thing and sexuality thing, and I found it interesting because I'm like, I agree with them on the sense of like not labeling somebody
can we all quit
racist via skin color, but you know, because they defaulted, apparently it's a default now of like, if you're white, you're somehow racist or
You're
whatever.
instantly racist because you're the race that's always picked on everybody else. Actually, blacks, and the funny part is, the word slavery comes from the Slavic people, which is all a white nation. So, I mean, you claiming slavery is yours, darker skinned people are completely full of shit because actually, whites were the first slaves.
What's funny is
English butlers and nannies.
Do you know what your sister actually said recently?
Huh?
Liberals are a self-manifestation of their own downfall.
Yes, they are.
The reason why she said that was because when I explained to her some of the stuff you showed me, and I showed her some of the videos you sent me, she was like, wait a minute.
Just because of people being stupid and
right,
like, I gotta be right.
Right. You said pause, so I'm going to tell you to pause for 5 seconds. She basically told me that with him calling out the guy and saying, you're telling me that I am racist for being white.
Yeah, the chick.
And defaulting me because of something somebody else did, and you're trying to do that, you're basically manifesting the next person to become racist because of a negative interaction. Because what causes a lot of negative bias is your human experience. And she was talking about it and saying that because of your bias in your negative experience, you're going to cause that next person to think that that person is a blanket response for the rest of people that are like them. And so therefore, you're going to manifest your own tragedy, you're going to manifest your own destruction, because therefore you're going to keep running into people that are like them, and they're all going to validate your own bias, your own cognitive bias, which is going to cause a chain reaction of bad experiences, which is going to cause you to think, oh my god, all these people that are of this particular pigmentation or this sexuality are like this. Oh my god, they're all jerks. Oh my god, this is bad. That must mean all gay people are bad. That must mean all white people are all this thing or whatever. And it's a generalization that leads to downfall.
And usually when I hear that stuff, it's like, oh, so you literally being a black person are telling me that as a white person, I'm the bad guy. Well, doesn't that prove that you're racist? Because you're racist against white people? And I've actually seen some shorts on there like, You can't call that racism. You can't even call that reverse racism. It's like, it's exactly what the hell y'all are doing. Do you not see the stupidity? Or you are a heterophobe because you hate straight people because we love each other and want to make kids. And if you tell that to anybody who's homosexual, they flip their shit.
Any form of
I've
extremism.
literally seen clips on it. I'm just like,
Any,
you idiots.
any form of extremism
It's horrible.
begets hate and begets self-resentment and begets destruction and bigotry, and the she-wolf speaks wisdom.
Yep.
That's what your sister said.
Yep.
And I was like, this is the part where I repeat something that Sam's always told me, and then she was like, huh? And I'm like, you know them as Dylan. She-wolf speaks wisdom. And she's like, did you just call me she-wolf? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh my god, thank you. Because it's usually referring to Dylan's wife,
No,
Cheyenne,
I understand what
who
you're
is
saying.
wise and has massive moments of wisdom.
Hey, we each
She took
have
it as a
our
massive compliment.
moments. But I don't know, the Pierce Morgan one just, I figured I'd throw that out there because, one, controversy. Maybe we'll get some views. Two, just one, to see your reaction, and two, just to see what everybody else is going to bitch or piss about. And
I just had a Tucker Carlson laugh.
It's like the whole Andrew and Tristan Tate thing. Well, they say this or they say this. It's like, did they? Okay, but that's who they were, not who they are.
Yeah.
So no matter what, okay, so that means that you're a rapist and an evil motherfucker because you thought it was consensual, but it wasn't consensual. Well, that's not what, that going to that subject alone would raise the hackles of a lot of people. But I mean, it's that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You assume I'm this because you think that. It's like, oh, all men are rapists because they're all sexist. I mean, that's how that feeds into itself.
Yeah.
And as soon as you call somebody out for saying stuff like that, it's like, well, you can't call me the reverse. Why not? You're literally throwing what I said back at me and saying I'm still the bad guy. Which means you're literally doing reverse racism, reverse sexism, reverse
Any form
homophobia,
of...
which is heterophobia.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like people are so focused on
me.
on trying to confirm their own bias and their own prejudice, and they don't even realize it. And if they do realize it, they're just purposely perpetrating hatred and bigotry.
Or, I'm not going to pay attention
That's
to you
sad.
telling me that's only what I know because that's what I've been told and or I've lived.
Learn to unlearn bad, toxic behaviors.
Yes.
And learn to relearn how to heal thyself and the worst parts of yourself. Rather than trying too hard to become the best part of yourself, learn to heal the worst part of yourself so that it in turn helps
Becomes the best part.
improve and become the best part of yourself. Becoming the best part of yourself.
What is it? The old thing they used to teach us about doing a job interview. What's your worst trait? Oh, my worst trait must be I'm a hard worker, so because I don't even think about it, I just work too damn hard.
Yeah, I
You're
mean, that's
literally
me.
turning your worst trait into a positive.
Yeah, that's straight up me. It gets to the point where the wife will be like, "You're working too hard," and they're like, "No, I'm not. Let's double down." And she's like, "That was the point." And she goes, "Take a break."
But we do that as guys. I mean, especially me and you. But it's like, nah. You want me to relax? Why the fuck would I do that? That means I'll have to slow down. I don't want to slow down.
Then I got buddies who are saying, "All work and no play, TPAW."
All work and no play means a full bank account. Leave me the fuck alone. I'll talk to you in a year.
Right.
Next soundbite.
No, I can smell a homosexual.
I just have a genuine question for black people who are conservative in America. Black Americans who are conservative. What are you trying
do you see the hilarity in the black guys talking about black people bitching about racism, or the gay guy also bitching about what are you trying to preserve or conserve because you're conservative.
I saw a dick pissing contest.
I saw hilarity in the humor because the two guys, they're black guys, but I like their podcasts because they usually, I don't know, maybe it's because literally growing up around blacks my whole life, especially when I lived on the East Coast, basically until I was 9.
I feel like if they were to like communicate better, they would have saw their differences.
Well, no. That was just more a hilarity piece because of the way they were interacting with the clip.
Yeah, that depends on if the other people saw the humor.
Well, either you see it or you don't.
Yeah.
I just threw it out there. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
If you don't see the humor, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I guess, well, also for you, it's a little bit different. For me, it's kind of the East Coast humor. We all pick on each other, even though we all love each other.
Yeah.
Where you're from the West Coast, where it's a little different with the whole thing, because you got Hispanics and blacks and whites all mixed together with other breeds and creeds, and it's different. It's a different dynamic. That's more of an East Coasterly humor thing.
Yeah.
And I'll admit that, because that's an East Coast thing for me.
This guy obliterated these objections. Watch this.
It's somewhere that Jesus said, I am going to worship you. He never said it. According to the Quran, who is the first? Allah. Yes. Yeah. So the Quran says Allah is the first. The Quran says Allah is the last. This is Jesus speaking. Behold, I am coming quickly, and my reward is with me to render to every man according to what he has done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. Who is the beginning and the end? Islamic. Right. So Jesus is calling himself God. If you have a God, you don't think that would have been a pivotal message. That would have been like something clear. Like, look, I am God. He did make it clear. I'll show you where he says that you should worship him. So Jesus says this, so that all will honor the Son, even as they honor the Father. Now, who is the Father? How do you honor God? So bow down and worship him. So Jesus is literally saying, bow down and worship him. I'm not lying to you.
I just thought that one
That
was funny because
sounded
it's the Muslim arguing with the Christian. It's like, Jesus literally says, I am God, asshole. No, he doesn't. Dude, I'll even grab your book, because your book has all of the scriptures from my book.
Yep.
I just found hilarity in that because it's like, really? Here.
Yeah.
What, dude? And I'm like, yeah, no, that's the end of the clip because it cuts off right there, and I'm
I
like,
find it so interesting how they both can get worked up about that, but to me that's obvious. Especially
Right?
since I didn't grow up with a Muslim religion. I grew up with propaganda. And so when I looked up the Quran and I looked up some of the other books and stuff, I would read through it.
The Torah,
And I read through some of it. I got through like 3 chapters of it, and life got busy. But I got through 3 chapters. Lately I can't finish much of anything. But I got through 3 chapters, and I read it, and then fucking I was reading it, and I was like going, why does it seem like this is almost identical to the Bible in some ways? Like, you got the 3 gods, and then you got the Holy Trinity. You got like all these other different comparisons that are in here. And I'm not getting worked up over it. I'm going, holy fuck, I'm learning something.
You
And
know why?
it's like not propaganda. This is great.
Because literally, the can't remember his name, the guy who wrote the Quran,
Yeah.
literally wrote the first part from his point of view as he's the new prophet.
Wasn't it
Thank
like
God.
Muhammad?
But, yeah, I think that was the name.
Yeah, his name was all over it.
But anywho, he literally took everything that was in the Christian Bible and said, ooh! Alright, I'm going to put stuff before and after it, but here you go! It's a bigger book. It's better than the Christians because I put more shit in it.
Yeah. And it may sound like 3 chapters is not a lot because then if the person is not a religious person and they read fiction books or whatever you read, they'll be like, oh, this just barely touched the surface. This book is fucking like thick and thick as a dick. And there's like 3 chapters of a lot of shit in there. So I was like trying to read it and it's completely new territory. And it's been years, but like I'll have to revisit it again sometime.
Yeah. Here, let's pull it up real quick on my phone.
Yeah, I got a copy of it.
Skip this shit.
They want to make you pay something or whatever.
No. I am, what was I? I'm in verse 7.
What does verse 7 say?
With the name of Allah, the most gracious, the ever merciful, I commence to read the holy book. All type of perfect and true praise belongs to Allah alone, the Lord of the worlds. Most glorious, the most merciful, the ever merciful, master of the day of Rahito? Right? I don't know.
Rakito.
Okay, I was close enough. Lord, you alone do we worship, you alone do we implore for help. Lead us on the exact right path till we reach the goal, the path of those whom you have bestowed your blessings, those who have not incurred your displeasure, and those who have not gone astray.
It sounds a lot like the Bible or the Book of Mormon to me. With the language
It's
of it.
literally the same shit.
Yeah.
It's just slightly written different.
Hey, it looks
But I mean, I
fucking
figured
the
I'd
same.
bring it up because, I mean, but
Well, we talked
literally
about it, so I
it's-
figured I'd have you read a piece of it so that the audience can be like,
I'll read the whole freaking
Oh.
verse, or the verses for the whatever.
yeah.
Alright, I got one more soundbite, and then we're done with the soundbites.
When you're on your way up, everyone roots for you because you remind them of their dreams. When you're at the top, everyone tears you down because you remind them that they gave up on them. You have one, which is, for anyone who needs a reminder, no one is going to hate on you for doing worse than them.
Yeah, I actually have experienced that recently. In the last couple of years, I have dealt with people who, whether they intended it or not, were utterly toxic towards me just because I published a book. Or they were toxic towards me because I did this thing or that thing. Doesn't matter what it is.
Whatever the hell the thing
Yep.
was, yeah.
And the second I even showed any massive amount of happiness about something, that person would exhibit, whether intended or not, toxicity or passive aggressiveness to try to pop my bubble or make me feel like shit or make me feel guilty for even feeling remotely happy at all. And they would try to tear me down just because I was high up above on a dopamine high. And I was warned about it by Cornelia. She was all like, just so you know, people around you will act this way, and I'm sure you've already experienced it, but if the case, I'm going to remind you, remember not to let them do that. Because they will try, and they will do it, and they'll go out of their way to do it, and they'll even deny that they're doing it, even if they know they're doing it. Or don't.
Right.
It's unfortunate, it's scathing, and it's terrible.
Okay, but because we did that, shit's in me because I want to do something. Keep talking.
In trying to find peace, I have to remember not to let somebody else try and rob me of said peace. And there are plenty of people around me that will try. Plenty of people that I know that will definitely go for it. And if you don't put up your barriers or put up your boundaries and honor them and respect them, that person will try and bulldoze them because they want you to feel just as shitty as they do.
I don't think we have enough time to do a full read on this, but we'll at least do a little bit.
Third Nephi. The book of Nephi, the son of Nephi, who was the son of Helaman. And Helaman was the son of Helaman, who was the son of Alma, who was the son of Alma, being a descendant of Nephi, who was the son of Lehi, who came out of Jerusalem in the first year of the reign of Zedekiah, the king of Judah.
Chapter 1. Nephi, the son of Helaman, departs out of the land, and his son Nephi keeps the records. Though signs and wonders abound, the wicked plan to slay the righteous. The night of Christ's birth arrives. The sign is given, and a new star arises. Lyings and deceivings increase, and the Gadianton robbers slaughter many. A about AD 1 through 4.
Now it came to pass that the 91st year had passed away, and it was 600 years from the time that Lehi left Jerusalem. And it was in the year that Lyconius was the chief judge and the governor over the land. And Nephi, the son of Helaman, had departed out of the land of Zariah, giving charge unto his son Nephi, who was his eldest son, concerning the plates of brass, and all the records which had been kept, and all those things which had been kept sacred from the departure of Lehi out of Jerusalem. Then he departed out of the land, and whither he went no man knoweth. And his son Nephi did keep the records in his stead, yea, the record of this people. And it came to pass that in the commencement of the 92nd year, behold, the prophecies of the prophets began to be fulfilled more fully. For there began to be greater signs and greater miracles wrought among the people.
I'm going to stop it right there because.
See,
But-
the comparison's there. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I find it
Pull out
fascinating.
your phone real quick though.
I find it fascinating as fuck. What do you want me to do?
We're going to have fun. The reign of Jebediah, the king of Judah. When was the reign of Jebediah, the king of Judah? That tells you when Lehi left. I think that also might be around the time that, one of the 12 tribes of Israel disappeared.
Reign of what?
Zedekiah.
Zedekiah, the king of Judah. That was in 597 to 587 86 BC. So like an estimation of 87 or 86 BC, but between 597 to 586.
Okay.
Whose reign ended in the Babylonian destruction of Jerusalem and the deportation of most of the Jews of Babylon. Or Jews to Babylon, sorry. Going from one place to the other.
Yep. Now here's the funny part. The first, 4 verses of that chapter is literally talking about Lehi, the father of Nephi, who was a prophet, got a vision, so they left Judah before they came and grabbed all the Israelites
Yeah.
from Judah and took them to Babylon. For they destroyed the temple for, I think, the first or second time.
Yeah.
This is what happened to one of the lost tribes. They literally got up because the dad was a prophet of God and said, "We're out," and left.
You know what I kind of want to do?
That's why I know this is true, because also some of the stuff it talks about in the Book of Mormon, which I know is everybody's like, oh yeah, the Mormon Bible. But here's the funny part. Some of the stuff it talks about, if you look into the Native American stories about their ancestors and their ancestors' ancestors, the shit lines up almost perfectly.
Well, what I'm saying
you have
is
a little bit of wiggle room because of the phone game. You go far enough down.
every part of the story.
Changes.
So let's say I'm listening to the Book of Mormon on audio tape. That's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
And let's say I'm listening to the Bible on audio tape. Similar to a lot of stuff I've been listening to. We were walking through Barnes and Noble, and I was pinpointing which book where I've listened on tape recently, and being like, oh, that's what it looks like a person.
Nice.
But basically, let's say I'm doing that. I want to actually take and create or at least look at a map on our world map of what it looks like in context, of what happened back then, BC wise, and what region and where they, in context of where they are in our world. So that it creates more of a realism.
The King James
Otherwise
version
it
of
feels
the
like
Bible,
mythology. Yeah.
that is the way the church has always printed it.
Right.
With Joseph Smith, because he literally looked at it and really went through it with talking, praying to God and whatnot to get the truth.
Yeah.
From his point of view, because we've discussed it. That's all point of view stuff. And he was instructed, basically, his little guardian angels, on okay, this happened during this part, this AD, this BC, this. So if you look, because you have the BC around the years, look where in the Bible that would be.
That's what I want to do. Is I want to map it out.
Because if you look, then you can see where Like, this is right before they got dragged off to Babylon. So you know right where the beginning of the Book of Mormon is. The shit actually lines up really, really well if you pay real close attention to it. But you gotta know what you're looking at.
Yeah, because I like...
Me being raised in the church, I know just by looking at it.
I got an A in
It's
history.
weird.
I got an A in history when I was 10th grade.
I was always
11th
shitty
grade.
with history.
Like, I got really good at it. And...
But this lines up in here.
Yeah, and I kind of want to, like, find context. Because I know that, like, there's going to be a lot of people out there who their own stereotype and their own bias and prejudice is going to come out, and they're going to, like, either make fun of, poke fun of, or whatever.
Why would you look into that church?
Right, exactly, whatever.
Yeah,
I want to know how history lines up with what people are... Because when they say, oh, the church is true, it sounds like a cult, or it sounds like, you know, whatever. But I want to know what lines up with what, especially with my recent experiences with certain spiritual things that I've been dealing with. And so I want to know what lines up with what, because people in general consider Roman and Greek history
fact.
They consider that fact, but they also consider the other extension of it, the celestial part, the divinity part, as being mythological. So which is funny and ironic. So I want to find out what ties with history and what ties with what is considered divine truth.
Oh, and this kind of goes back into what I've said before with Constantine taking all the stories they were telling, and then they started putting it into book form and taking, okay, which books do we want to put in the Bible?
Yeah. And if you guys end up deciding they're like, hey, this is not for me, that's up to you. We're still gonna be funny. We're still gonna talk smack. We're gonna still all this stuff.
We're gonna put fun at each other like brothers do.
Yeah, but this is kind of something that I myself am wanting to undergo in. It's gonna be like one of those weird side project things that I undergo, because again, I am on a quest, a crusade for internal peace.
And 100% truth. I've seen it.
And so, like, for me, it's like I want to know what me is. I've spent 31.8 years living with a mask, and kind of feel like the mask was the identity, and people don't understand that because they're not here. They're not here.
Best way to explain it is the movie, The Mask, the original movie. If you can't pull it off, or the mask attaches, when it attaches to you, you're not supposed to be able to pull it off.
Yeah, it's a side effect of trauma.
Well,
multiple traumas wrapped up in one big
from you,
giant.
But I'm saying from the movie The Mask, when he puts it on, it's supposed to stay on permanent. Yeah, he can't get it off. It becomes his face.
Yeah,
and that's what you're dealing with your trauma and realization of who and what you truly are.
Right, and people are denying it. Like, there are people around me who are just like they can't conceive of it, and they're just
of course not.
Like, for instance, the wife talked to her therapist today, and the therapist was thinking that I was doing avoidance, and I'm like, have you not been paying attention? Like, that's the opposite of what I'm doing. Like, I literally am, like, trying to find out what me is again. And you do that often when you're a teenager, and you're rebelling, and you're breaking rules, and you're trying to do self-discovery. Like, that's what's called adolescence. And then when you're when you're a young adult, and you are rediscovering yourself in your 20s, and the women go, yeah, girl, yeah, queen, go do it. And then you got the men who are like, yeah, man, flex. And then when you finally get to, like, your 30s, and you're like, oh my god, now I want to relax and chill, I don't want drama anymore, that's another version of rediscovering yourself. And so I'm in my 30s where I'm like, I've spent so much time in my 20s trying to build a career, and so much time in my teen years trying to deal with childhood trauma. I suddenly realized I've boxed myself, and I've, like, put myself into this thing to try to deal with it and try to cope. That what's me again? And, like, you know, I know what that looks like. I know I have an idea of it, but it's kind of like rediscovering it again. It's like,
you becoming who you portray as TPAW, just like me actually acting as myself as Karnage.
what was funny is the wife actually realized when she was in the car and I was explaining to her like where I'm coming from on some of it,
Yeah.
because she's all like, I don't know what goes on in there, and I'm like, okay, let me get into it. And
Let's dive deep.
yeah, let's dive deep into this since you want to
Hell
know
yeah.
so damn much. And like, she got some negative emotions out of me because there are a lot of it, and it happens when you try to compress it and you try to compress it and try to compress it, and you've got all these other things on the outside of it that are just called, they're called expectation, they're called perception, they're called outside people not letting you be you. And so I had to shed that a lot with Jim, and I had to shed that a lot with this podcast, for instance, and other things. And there's a lot of pushback you get when you're trying to do that, especially with people who think they know you, but what they know is
It's the persona you put on.
a mask that you put on your face to please them, or you put on your face to make them think that, you know, oh, now you're comfortable and you're happy, okay, we're good. But yet you yourself are not good. You yourself are like, I'm not happy, but I guess we'll just go check, please, because everybody else is fine. And then it creates that sense of unease, and that you deal with it and you cope with it. And when you're a teenager and an adult, you learn to deal with it because everyone tells you it's fine. So therefore, that idea is projected onto you.
And that's my biggest issue. It's, oh, okay, you feel that way. Okay, that's who you are. It's alright. It's like, no. What's the issue? Do you want to know how to fix it, or are you just here to bitch so that we can vent?
Right.
Because if you're just here to bitch and vent, then bitch and vent. If you actually want to know how to fix your life or something, and I think this is a guy thing more than a girl thing, because I always heard on some of the RandoOO podcasts too. It's like, yeah, well, y'all think with your emotions, you don't think with your brain, and whenever you tell a guy a problem, his instant reaction, which most chicks get pissed at, is, okay, I know how to fix it, let's fix it.
Yeah.
But that's not what the chick wants. She just wants you to be the sounding board so that way she can figure it out by saying it out loud to somebody else. And it's like, that's not how we work though. You have to tell me that's what you want, or I instantly think because you're telling me there's a problem, I gotta fix it.
Yeah, and I think a light bulb went off in the wife's head after I finally started explaining some of it.
Yep.
Because I told her that she needed to drop whatever bias or prejudice she has against me. And she's like, I don't realize that I'm doing that. And I'm like, you are. Like, you are letting the every person every person you interact with, plus all your past traumas, plus your human experiences, all shape a form of bias or prejudice. And right now, it's not acting for me. And I'm feeling it, and I don't like it. And I finally voiced that, because before, what I do is I do this. Because of the shield. I use your own perceptions of me as a shield. And I put it on as a mask, and I go, okay, let's cope. Because that way I can just get through it. It's unhealthy, but it's the way I learn to get through it. It's the way I learn to heal or not heal.
Manage your emotions without actually blowing up.
Exactly. And
it's either a bad habit you learn from one of your parents or one of the side parents that's not an actual parent that was in your life.
Exactly. And I had all of that. And I had to learn how to shed that. And now that I am trying to do that, it's causing discomfort. It's causing all sorts of discomfort.
It's only discomfort because everybody wasn't ready for it when you were.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I've been waiting for you to do it for like a year now, so.
Yeah, no, the wife has been waiting for it for years, apparently. And she's trying to get used to it.
I knew you were getting close within the last year, because I'm like, okay, he's almost there.
That's literally what you told me. Like, I didn't believe you at all. I was like, the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, you're almost there.
I was utterly fucking clueless, and you're just all like, you'll find out, you'll know, don't worry about it. And I'm like,
that's how I interact with everybody, though. I see, it's a weird gift where you can see the outcome before the outcome's even visible to everybody else in the fucking goddamn puzzle.
You know who else called it, though?
Grammar.
Cornelia.
Well, of course. I mean, me
She
and her
pulled
are
a
very
reading on me.
similar.
She pulled like 5 readings on me. One of them was talking about finance issues. One of them was talking about projections of others. I thought she was talking about the Twitter situation.
Nope.
And then another one was talking about identity shift. That I would experience a massive identity shift that would cause everyone around me, in general, not specifically, but in general,
Gotcha.
to have issues or to deal with rubbing against negatively. And then I would have to remember to continue on and go through it and figure out what that means for me, regardless of whatever consequences of self-discovery it brought me.
Which is true.
Oh yeah, no, I'm literally watching as every one of Cornelia's fucking predictions and her tarot readings are just, I'm just like going, okay, you prophet.
But see, okay.
Okay, you tarot reader.
For me, it's weird because you're like, you said this would happen. What thing did I say? You said this. When did it happen?
Between
Yesterday.
the fucking two of you, you're a dynamic duo.
Well, it's being so spiritually aware, you see the outcome before anybody else does. It's like, great, you fucking idiots. Are you gonna keep going with this shit? Fuck, you stupid. Hey, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That'll never happen. Okay, that'll take an extra 2 years. See y'all in 3 years then.
Yep. And it was so weird. I was just like, oh, this is happening. That's how I kind of process it at this point. I'm just like, I'm kind of like the main character who just goes, plot twist. This is happening. Okay, let's find a way to deal with it. Let's not run for cover. Let's just brace ourselves. We could do this all day.
But you've become so self-aware. It's like, oh, I'm there in the story. Okay.
Yep. And I just go, all right, let's go. Let's do it. Let's get this over with. Let's get through this.
Let's deal with the bullshit now, so that way in 6 months to a year, it'll be so much smoother.
Yeah, like it's kind of like the workouts. It's let's power through this, especially when it gets hard.
Yep.
And then let's enjoy the experience while we're having, or at least try to, and then go. Ugh!
Enjoy the journey on the way to the path, to the end, to the goal.
Exactly.
Whatever your goal is.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, I don't know. I whenever people aren't around me, is when I'm enjoying it the most. Honestly, because I sit back and go, wait a minute. Let me reflect on what just happened. Let me reflect on what what this is. I'm like, I kind of like this. I kind of like how what this is becoming, because like it's more me. It's less of everybody else. It's less of what people want from me and more of what I want for myself.
Exactly.
And it's cool. It's awesome. And I dig it. And so, like, I mean, I was pretty triggered earlier today, like, beginning of the day, when my wife and I were talking about it initially. But, like, that was just a response that I've had to have, I guess, in order for me to get through that initial stage of whatever that was. To try to deal with something that an outside influence.
Reaction because of previous interactions when you had to tell people the truth.
Yes, and an outside influence that I've considered helpful a lot bumped into me, and and I say bump, I mean like negative connotation, and I'm like, excuse me, and so like I got really like it was a very negative
but because
feeling.
You could tell the difference between it being negative or positive.
Yeah.
The realization is the benefit.
Yeah, exactly. And then my wife started getting a lot more realizations, which was cool. So that's a positive thing too, because that that means that the person who's the person I'm referring to, that's their job, is to help with realization. And so I was like, well, at least they did something. So that's a positive. I'm always looking for those. But
You have to.
Yeah. But
Fight for the happy memories, fuck the bad ones.
Exactly. But guess we're gonna end this now soon because we're out of sound bites, and it is now almost 2 a.m.
That was my thing. It's almost 2.
Yeah. But this has been Crazy Peas. I'm TPAW.
Karnage 6778. You can find me everywhere and anywhere. And any woman who is liking me here recently or subscribing, send me a message so I know who, what, or where you want it.
And happy Halloween, because the next time we talk, that holiday will have passed. As I
Don't
said-
die, be spooky, enjoy yourselves, and don't go into diabetic coma.
Yep. Have a week.